and the Smith brothers. So that's the front four. What they're going to have to do tonight is to go back to the traditional 3-4 and have the Smith brothers on either side of a three-man defensive line. The Cleveland Browns stopped Henry for less than 75 yards 3 weeks ago, and they did it by just going straight into their defensive line through the gaps and trying to stuff him before he can cut back and start sprinting and building momentum. So we'll see if they can do that. It surprised me that Anthony Rush was on the inactive list because I thought he was going to be the guy who would be there. But Brian Price, I'd like to see if he's on the team. See, because they're going to have to play more if he's on the active roster because they're going to have to play more defensive linemen tonight.
Mm-hmm. Chris Barnes has been playing great football, and Dean Lowry up front along with Kenny Clark. So I think you have to be encouraged relative to what we saw early on about Mike Pettine's unit. Aaron Jones, well, he's trying to get to back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. First time for a Packer back since Eddie Lacy at 968 and 8 touchdowns, 5.4 yards per carry. And, you know, John, I was looking at comparative statistics through, say, 51 or 52 games, and Jones overall is better than Derrick Henry. That's saying a bunch, isn't it?
Yeah, that really is. I think Jones has not been as durable as Henry has, but he's just as important and just as important a weapon. So they haven't used him more than 20 times a game. Tonight might be the first. Tonight, this is really your first playoff game, and next week against the Bears, that's your second playoff game. Then you can see if you can get a bye. You win next week, you get the bye. You win this week, and you get respect.
I love that. Michael, will you speak to me, please, about the second half woes of the Packers? 3 points against Carolina. In the fourth quarter, they were scoreless. They have one of the worst outfits in the league in fourth quarter scoring for a prolific offense, and certainly they're 1-2 tonight with Tennessee. And by the way, as we watch the Titans about set to kick off, Matt LaFleur had said pregame, we're going to, whether we win or lose, we want the football because we want to put the pressure on. But I'd love your take about that second half. And do you think that LaFleur and Rodgers are going to get on the same page and make some adjustments?
Yeah, Pippett's been really bad as of late, but the only silver lining to that is they've been leading by a lot going into the second halves, and it's been against teams that aren't thought of to be good teams. So maybe they just kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit because they weren't playing the best of teams. So tonight will be interesting if they have a 10 plus lead at point lead at halftime, if they can keep the foot on the pedal, or what they do, given that they know that this is a big game.
Well, here comes Aaron Rodgers in that offense. And John, in our pregame show with our producer, Jason Rook, that we posted up on WisconsinSportsStream.com, PippinDodds.com, there was talk about from you, and I love this, when you said, you know what, maybe it's good to get a little chip on the shoulder. They were humbled by the Panthers last week, offensively, in particular, Devontae Adams, 7 catches, 42 yards, held out of the end zone, and we know about the competitive nature of that quarterback.
Well, and the story might have been that Rodgers was audibling out of some running plays to get Adams some more touches, and so that was kind of a subtle thing. But Carolina's got some nice players. They really do. They have good defensive linemen. They have a top 7 pick in their defensive line. So they've been doing that all year. They win, and you beat them, but you do it and you look ugly. And here the Packers started off. This might be the best field position they've had all year at the 40.
Absolutely. And you see the plan in the snow. This is why, right, John? It's nice to have postseason go through Lambeau Field, this cold weather. And I expect, I don't know, what do you think, Michael, in terms of the wind conditions and the snow and that sort of thing? Is that going to impact Aaron Rodgers in particular?
So I saw the wind is about 15 mile an hour right now. So I don't think that's that much wind, but I could be wrong. Not a wind expert, but I don't think it'll impact them too much. I think they'll still go to the air game. But it does help Tennessee as well because it lets them run the ball even more than they may have, which is their strength. So I think the snow helps both teams today.
Well, as you speak, it's Rogers to Adams. And yeah, I guess, John, from your many, many years being up there, it's rain more than anything else, right? The snow doesn't necessarily bother those QBs with big hands, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
Right. I've been there a long time, and whenever there was snow like this, Lynn Dickey was a big advantage because Lynn Dickey couldn't move because of the leg injuries, the hip injuries, he was just an old guy. And when everybody moved like he did on the snow, he would have his best games. He would just star in games like this. And then Favre had the big hands, and so Rodgers does too. And Ron Wolf is a big believer. He was a big believer in that because the bigger your hand, the less likely you are to lose control of the ball. And I think that's valid.
Well, there's no Jeremy Chin back there for the Tennessee Titans. Michael, do you see the defense in the back of Coach Mike Vrabel? And of course, Matt LaFleur coached under him for years, the offensive coordinator for the Titans. Do you see the Packers being able to take advantage, particularly one-on-one with 17 out there?
Yeah, I do. They have some nice players on paper with Byard, and there goes Jones for a big run. But they have some nice players, Byard and Malcolm Butler, who is the hero for the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl against Seattle, where Wilson threw an interception at the 1 yard line. That was Butler that picked that off. But they haven't been that good this year. They're 28th in opponent passing touchdowns per game. They're giving up over 2 touchdowns per game through the air. So I do think Devontae Adams and even an MVS or Lazard will be able to have a pretty big game today.
What's that jersey behind you? I'm liking that.
Behind me? I got a Rodgers jersey behind my right shoulder.
Yeah, I noticed. That's nice. So Rodgers and Giannis, the next thing you know, you'll have Yelich. And you look like Yelich, so we got these, right, John?
Yeah, this is the start of the game reminds me of Rodgers in 2011, 2012. That's when I first noticed this, where he goes up to the line, they have multiple plays called, and they still do this with LaFleur. And you just look and you see how many people are in the box on defense. And right now, they passed, and it looks like only 7 are in the box and 4 are deep to stop Devontae Adams. So their defense lacks playmakers. So when there's 7 in the box, you run Jones. When they put 8 in the box, you pass to Adams. That's kind of so you just kind of look and you kind of know what's going to happen here depending on how close these guys are to the line. Now there's a little bit more in the box there. For this one right here, you see there's really 7 in the box, 8 in the box here.
Let's see what Jones can do. He's moving forward in the right direction. Boy, he's had an outstanding year. John, I like seeing Daphne, that this tight end, he's come on and he's made some contributions here as he did on that last catch.
Yeah, they still don't have Irvin, which, their jet sweep doesn't have credibility now. People are just kind of ignoring it. And that's when they really had it rolling, when they could hand off to him in motion and spread everybody out and freeze those linebackers. But yeah, he's a good blocking back, and you don't know when Mercedes Lewis is finally going to give up the ghost.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, we talked about the importance of getting off to a quick start. I think Rodgers could be poised for a big game. All right, Mr. Lazard, first down. Hang on to that ball. Boy, it's fun, isn't it, Michael? This kind of weather. I mean, there's a lot on the line. Once more, that because of the Rams losing to Seattle clinching out in the West, and they're right on the Packers' heels. It'll come down to Packers-Bears at Soldier Field next Sunday. But you really, as John said, you can have a feel-good win here against a quality playoff team.
Yeah, and it does matter a little bit if you were to lose this game. By winning it, you can have the luxury of losing next week, and then if Seattle also loses, you get the 1 seed. Whereas if you lose this game and Seattle loses next week, I believe it would get in there. Yeah, Devontae Adams.
Oh, baby. He breaks the tackle again. Good. Well, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it really got a little... No, that's good. Hey, you called it and everything else, baby. Most important, they are off to
Michael Larrabee.
I heard there's a bunch of people on Twitter today saying that hopefully the Bears-Packers game will get flexed to primetime television next weekend because the Bears will have a win-and-in situation.
Yeah. Right now it's a noon start, but boy, this kid is just brilliant. The way he uses his body, John. Oh,
He didn't, he missed it.
through. Oh, jeepers. I thought he had that figured out, the way he was going to start it one way or the other. And that's, again, I know you've talked about swirling winds, as Michael said, not that much of a factor, but apparently somewhat anyway. I don't know, conditions being a little slippery for the kicker, planting your foot.
Huh. This will get big ratings because people love snow.
Yeah.
It's just something different. And it's natural grass. It's really nice hybrid natural grass. So it'll look different than the antiseptic games from Jerryville or New Orleans or some of the dome places. So it'll get big ratings. But here's where the rubber meets the road. It's do the Packers have enough confidence in Jair Alexander and King to guard their really good wide receivers one-on-one, and then put everybody else in the box to shut down the running game?
Touchdown pass number 41 for Aaron Rodgers. You remember Jason Simmons when he was an assistant with the Packers? Somebody brought up, John, this past week that he's now playing or coaching for Carolina. He had played under the head coach there, and he really seemed to understand what the Packers receivers were trying to do because he had had that experience as an assistant coach in Titletown. I wonder if that might have been a bit of a factor in Carolina doing a pretty good job on those receivers, as well as Michael said earlier, the 5 sacks of number 12.
That's a great point because the one guy, actually there's 2 guys. There was 2 guys that I noticed that when the Packers played from 2000 since, was Andy Reid and Gruden. And the reason why Andy Reid knew exactly what the Packers' keys were for reading defenses. So he would stack and he would disguise the defenses, and he knew that the Packers were looking, oh, there's the safety. That means I'm going to cut my route off this way. And then they would actually change the defense right at the start and really screw up the timing. And so what you just said is totally plausible.
All right, I'm going to the dictionary for plausible. You got me again, JD. But it all sounds good. All right, what do we expect here, Michael? How do you think the Packers are going to fare against Big Derrick Henry?
I don't think it'll be that good, but I also think Tennessee won't just run the ball as much as people think. They've got weapons through the air, as we talked about in the previous show, Jonnu Smith, A.J. Brown, who's a Pro Bowler, and Corey Davis, who's had a really nice couple of games down the stretch for Tennessee. So I could see a lot of play action as well, but Derrick Henry will be where the eyes are, and I am interested. I don't know if they'll be able to stop him or not, but I'm interested to see how they go about trying to stop him.
Well, as you say, hopefully you get ahead and you force a nice return. You force them to go to the air, but you made the point eloquently and informatively, as always, that Tannehill has weapons and 31 TD passes to what, Michael? Just 5 picks. So like Rodgers, not as many touchdown tosses. But the last couple of years, this former receiver himself turned quarterback, Tannehill, the veteran, kind of a journeyman, he's really stepped up his game, hasn't he?
He has, and I'm not sure how he plays in snow games. I didn't get a chance to look at that before, but he's a guy in a normal weather game that is not going to make turnovers. As you said, he is just 5 on the year. So this should be a good football game where both teams drive down the field and a lot of points are scored without many mistakes. It should be one of the better football games of the season, I think.
Well, they got the guy from Alabama pretty well right there, but boy, he is good. John, you can't let him get to that second level, right?
You can't let him get started, and if you're a DB, don't get stiff-armed. Drive at his legs, go for his knees, cut him. That's the only way you can. You can't hit him high. This isn't a toughness contest, and he just rips, little finesse DBs right off their feet with a stiff arm.
Well, 2nd and 10, but they go back to the horse. Better gain that time. Setting up about a 3rd and 5. This will be interesting to see what they do.
And it looks like field position is going to be an interesting thing today because neither kicker got the ball past, I think, the 15-yard line on the kickoff. So both teams starting the ball past the 30. That's probably going to be a common denominator today.
And there's a lot to play for, right, Michael, for the Titans? I mean, they're 10-4, but Henry and company, they could get a 3 seed, perhaps even a 2 seed. Nobody's going to take it away from Kansas City. They clinch home field by just getting past Atlanta today. So again, is there a dominant team this season? I don't know.
No, I don't think Kansas City's where they were earlier this year that we talked about. Buffalo's playing really well as well. I could see them going down to Kansas City and beating them. So yeah, there's not a given, especially in the AFC, as we once thought there was.
Nice play right there, John.
That was close. Savage almost had that.
Yeah, he looked like he went for it, huh?
Yeah.
He's been playing a lot better lately. The safety play overall has been good. There might have been a couple of Pro Bowl snubs, but when you have 7, and as Michael said, 6 starters, it's hard to argue. Bobby Tunyon with those 10 touchdowns. The aforementioned Amos, who's played pretty good back there.
Lindsley.
Savage. Uh-oh, look out to run.
Yeah, Tunyon was the one that shocked me just because of who made it over him was Evan Ingram from New York, who he did not have a good year this year. So that one was interesting to me, but I believe 33% of the votes come from fans. So the all pro selections will be what I look at more than Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get Colin Lindsley on here. He follows the New York Giants. That's the Great Blue North report used to be based only on the Giants. So there, we could get a good comment whether that tight end deserved it.
Yeah.
Up in Canada, what a job he did for us, John. You getting him? Look out. Okay. For the draft, that was a lot of fun. He's informative, and I know you'll try to bring him on again. Well, we see it as it might. You've said whether they are behind or ahead, they're gonna run their horses as often as possible. But it certainly would help the Packers if they can keep some distance. This is a good drive they have going.
Yeah, this will be a very short game, very few possessions. These are long drives. These are the team. Both teams have the best ball control and probably the worst defenses. The Titans want to just nickel and dime down the field and keep Rodgers off and keep their defense off.
The Titans have had some issues on the O-line, haven't they, Michael? I thought LaFleur was saying in his pregame interview with Wayne Larrivee that the left tackle was a bit of an issue. So I don't know whether they're 100%, but who is 100% at this time of year?
Yeah, they have been banged up a little bit, but which is like even more kudos to Derrick Henry for what he's been able to do with not a fully healthy offensive line, but it's still good. I mean, they protect Tannehill well. He's got, I think, just 20 sacks on the year where Rodgers has 18 taken. So they protect him basically as well as Green Bay protects Rodgers.
Now that last play was the first time I've seen this in the LaFleur era. They had 4 defensive linemen down. They have 4 defensive linemen down. So it's a 4-3 they're playing. And it's 1-on-1 in the back. So that's confidence with the secondary. So that's good. That's the first time I've seen that. Usually it's 2 defensive linemen and the Smith brothers.
That was almost a false start, it looked like, but I think this is 4-down territory just because of the kicking situation. They're at the 33.
I would agree with that.
I don't know what based off the kickoff from the Tennessee kicker, I'd assume they'd go for this, but
Unless they
they're kicking.
Yeah, they're gonna kick. So is it gonna be a field goal or a punt?
I think it'll be a field goal.
So it'll be about 50 yards.
Yeah, this would be a really nice one to miss.
Yeah.
So that's a big decision if they go for the field goal as opposed to a punt to try to pin them back, JD.
They're gonna punt it.
Yeah, this is
okay. Yeah, I thought I saw Austin coming out. That makes sense because if you miss it, look out.
All right.
Packers have great field position. Now let's see what he does with it. Pooch.
So they just punted from the 32, I believe. So it was a punt of 12 yards there.
32 yards.
Yeah, so 12 yards. So the touchback to the 20. So they gained 12 yards by doing that.
Great.
Exactly.
You'll take that,
That's why I think you just go for that there. But that's just me.
Well, you're Mr. Vegas. Wow.
Yeah, you don't know behind that sly smile, I'll tell you.
Yep, I don't know.
He's a rising star in our podcast. I don't want to lose him to Vegas, but
Yeah.
we're having fun. That's not the case.
Or to a gambling problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing, thankfully, we don't deal with here, but we're having a lot of fun and just hoping that this just might be the year for the Green Bay Packers. Again, it's the Pip and Dodds Packers podcast with Michael Rachel, who's been such a marvelous addition, our incomparable producer, Jason Ruck at WisconsinSportsStream.com, Facebook and Twitter, and also pipandodds.com/ask if you have questions for Michael Rachel. We have our Elephantly marketing team in Paris, Andrew O'Grogan, Shannon Geringer back here in Milwaukee. They do it all when it comes to all that high-tech stuff and helping us with the website and the marketing of the products. So we've been very thankful to them. And also our partners FORE in Milwaukee, Super Golf Bar. I've talked to a couple of people who have been out there, who have enjoyed it very much, have played golf simulator, played courses around the country, enjoy a beverage and slice of pizza. Also, thanks to Don Matovich and DJ's Goalpost in Menominee Falls, outstanding food and an unbelievable sports memorabilia collection. You just have to get there off Appleton Ave to check it out. And Professional Construction Inc., we will have our hearts bending toward Mike and Michelle Grau for a long, long time as they stepped up for us early on, and they do terrific work. Professional Construction Inc., both in terms of residential and commercial. They'll remodel your home or your kitchen, you name it. So lots of fun. Well, so far, so good, Michael. What do you think?
Yeah, so far so good. I have my tweet notifications on for Rob Demovsky, and he says AJ Dillon is in to start the second drive. So the answer to our earlier question of will we see AJ Dillon is yes. But overall, I'm very pleased with the offense's opening drive. I thought it was very, very good, as we see most of the time with the Packers. And defensively, I thought it was decent as well. They didn't give up any big chunk yards. Henry was able to have his way a little bit, but ultimately they got the stop, and that's all you can ask for today.
Hey, rookie, hold on to the ball.
Yeah, you said it. But this is big with Jamal Williams out. It's a great big opportunity for the big fella. I mean, he's built about as much like Derrick Henry as anybody else in the league. So here we go. There he is. Not too much.
Was that Daphne in the backfield as well with him?
I think it was for lead blocking. It didn't quite work, but what surprised me in the little I've seen of Dillon play was, I think it was the Detroit game. He made a couple of really nice catches on the flanks where he caught the ball in his hands below his knees and then really kind of turned and made a play. So he's a good back. We'll see.
Oh, nice scramble.
Oh, baby, look at that. They thought he was going to slide, Michael, huh? No way. Look at him. Deked you, didn't I? A little bit of Mahomes in there.
I think that was a screen pass for Dillon, kind of a fake decoy, and it wasn't open. So then he just saw a bunch of room in front of him and then made a move on a guy.
But they must have called a color or something, because then Turner was out blocking for him. So maybe that was a... Boy, Russell Wilson had a great play today where he went back and the running back was block, and then he acted like he was running, and the linebacker left the running back, and he just threw a little pass over to the guy out of the backfield, gained about 20 yards. And I thought, boy, I hope the Packers are watching that one. That was a nicely designed play, similar to this one, except Russell Wilson didn't take it on his own. Okay, that was just a linebacker who got in there. There's just too many guys.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of this defense, John, overall? We don't hear much about the Titans' defense in favor of the offense, although, again, in the back, somewhat suspect.
Yeah, very, very, very poor. I think the ball control makes them, even with the ball control that offense has, they're rated 27-30 in some positions.
Oh, nice catch. Couldn't quite get past him.
I'll rephrase it. Not terrible, not poor, just average. say it's average.
Michael, it'd be great if Tavon Austin could catch fire here because, as John said, and I know you're on that page as well, you'd really like to see a healthy Tyler Ervin. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Maybe for the playoffs, we'll see. It's just been an injury-marred campaign for him.
Yeah, that'd be nice to even activate him in the playoffs, use him as a decoy on some jet sweeps so people start respecting it and opening things for other people such as MVS Lazard. And nice catch there by Dylan.
Yeah.
He's got good hands.
Mm-hmm.
They just had nothing going on there. But as soon as Rodgers has to figure out or get a feel for their blitzing.
Well, that's a pretty good stand right there by the Titans. Yeah, the pressure.
That was interesting. They didn't really try to go downfield much. There was 2 screen passes and a rush by Dylan after the Rodgers scramble. Oh, they got probably a holding on Tennessee for automatic first down.
Oh, sweet.
Boy, Rodgers got jacked on that one.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe, was that the call? Maybe.
Thank you, Jason Ruck, our producer, holding on the D. But yeah, he did take a shot. He was wincing. John, how cold would it be up in the booth if you were there without COVID, of course, doing the statistics for Wayne Larrabee and Rock McCarron?
Yeah, I had thermal golf gloves on. I had heat packs, hunting heat packs. There we go.
Yeah, good effort.
Hunting heat packs you can shake up. I had about 4 different layers on. And then there's Wayne and Larry, they're standing up the whole game. I mean, they're really
All right, so the penalty helps a whole heck of a lot. Let's see if they can cash in. Alan Lazard. Iowa State, you don't mess around with those Cyclones.
It's nice to have him back. A couple weeks now, he's been back since his injury, and really, I think it opens up a lot for the offense.
I deal with an insurance company out of Des Moines, and every now and then the person will tell me, so how's Lazard doing for you Packer fans? And I said, pretty darn good. So he was highly thought of at Iowa State. They really liked him.
Rodgers at 7 for 7.
That's a nice play right there.
Now 8 for 8. Attaboy. Pro Bowl snub.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, John.
That's an off-balance play, misdirection. It's super effective. I mean, it seems like the Vikings and the Seahawks have been running that against the Packers for years. You jet sweep to the left, you fake to the left, and then you go across there. That's tough to defend.
What were you going to say, Michael?
No, that's what I was going to say is they threw Tavon Austin in motion in the jet sweep to fake it to him, and it opened it up for Tanyan.
Sure did.
Same play. Other way.
Might have just been tossing that one away. But I do like to see, as Michael, you were saying, going downfield a little bit.
Yeah, they've been jacking them. That's concerning so far. Packers have to get their protection ready. Sometimes the best defense is just ignore all the jet sweep motion and just go at Rodgers.
You concerned at all? Aaron Jones hasn't been on this drive at all. It's been Dylan the whole way. I wonder if he banged up something.
Yeah.
But another nice run by Dylan. This is a good drive for him.
Maybe they're going to go. They'll alternate back and forth. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on what's going on with 33. You've said before, and so has John, come on, just keep running him. Well, as you guys say, he's not exactly a bull, so you have to be careful of the number of touches. But this is an encouraging start because with Williams down, John, it's really imperative that both backs have a big game.
Well, and the the charm of Williams is he can pick up the blitz.
Mm.
So he can hit on the flanks. He can run up the middle. He's a multi-talented guy. He and Irvin are big losses.
Would you speak about the importance of having Corey Lindsley back, John, not only from what he gives you physically, but in terms of setting the line and being the captain of that offensive line? How big is that?
Yeah, he's one of the top 3 centers in the league right now, and you can then move Jenkins back to left guard. And in the last couple of weeks, it seems like Patrick has allowed a sack or 2 from the left guard. So now you shore that up, and they've actually subbed Patrick, and they put Turner. They kept Wagner at right tackle, and they kept Turner at right guard. So it's been a real solid offensive line. Good run blocking, good pass blocking. Probably not the best run blocking in the league, but probably the best all-around offensive line. And the way the coaches have been able to plug and play has been super impressive. I mean, I did not see the ability of Turner to play left tackle like he did against Houston this year and some of these other games. It's amazing how well he did at left tackle. And Jenkins kind of reminds you of a Jerry Kramer, Forrest Gregg type, where those guys, Forrest Gregg was the right tackle for Lombardi, and they plugged him in when Jerry Kramer broke his ankle, and he became all pro at guard. I mean, that's what Jenkins is. It's just what a pick. That might be the best pick of the Gutekunst era.
That's saying a lot, but it's hard to argue. He is just versatility personified. The only knock on the offense, Michael, might be occasionally the inconsistency, especially coming out of the locker room for the second half. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. I think the first half has been very good in basically every game. I'm trying to think of one that it was, maybe against Detroit when they got down 14-3 early, but I mean, they've been very good first half. So I don't know if it's a mindset or if they just script the first half better than coming out of the locker room, or even if they script the second half at all in the locker room. But yeah, I don't really know what to think about that.
Mm-hmm. John, how concerned are you? Is it just an aberration? Love this. Look what's going on outside Lambeau Field. Oh, yeah, baby.
Only in Green Bay.
Yeah, yes. Is it more, was that an aberration, or is this something you'll have some concern about, and then maybe tying that into getting Lindsley back? The timing couldn't be better, John.
Yeah, you got to get all hands on deck, and it'd be interesting to see if Aaron Jones is back. No, he's not. It's interesting. So maybe it's drive by drive.
It was a fast first quarter, so it seemed, but we're having fun. Yes! EQ. Yes.
Brown.
Ooh.
You know what I noticed? Andrew O'Grogan from the Elephantly marketing team comes in there from Paris. He joins in, the big Packers fan, and touchdown. You liking that, Andrew?
Yeah, just, wearing a tie like everyone else. I saw what you were wearing, and I had to, tie up. I got my Packer stuff with me, but also my Bucks, of course. We're playing the Knicks tonight, by the way.
Yeah. How's that going? How's that game going?
They were down 15 at half, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's okay.
On the road, yeah. They're in Madison Square Garden.
Did anyone see that Dallas game at halftime? Dallas versus the
Clippers.
Oh, my God. 50-point lead at the half.
5-0.
I think they won by 50, though, right?
1 for 2.
Man. Yeah, I like that, John.
And there's Jones back in.
There he is.
He's going to be short.
Did he make it, though?
No, he's short.
Shoot. Well, a sigh of relief that he's back in there. But it worked out pretty well. A good 1-2 punch here with these two backs.
Looked like he was limping, though.
Yeah. I don't know if it was off that play or.
Rodgers has already found 6 different receivers today.
That's a good sign, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, Adams has 3 receptions, and that's the most out of everybody. But it's 6 or receivers / tight ends, however you want to classify that. But 6 different Packers have a reception so far.
Do you think that there was some conversation going on between Rodgers and LaFleur with the head coach saying, don't forget the other guys in there. Mix it up a little bit, going back to the Carolina game in the second half.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Devontae Adams also just had an off game last week too, so I don't know. I just think when everyone's involved, it makes it that much more difficult on the defense, and it feels like the Packers are even more efficient than maybe they are because everybody's involved, everybody's getting their touches, which helps the self-esteem for everybody as well.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, you gotta admit the snow helps.
Yeah, I do. Well, John always talks about how Lambeau Field is the turf that causes a ton of slips anyway. So I'm not sure defensively if it is even worse than that. But Rodgers' play in the snow has always been good, and a lot of national analysts will say, "Oh, it's going to be a low-scoring game by the Packers, and they're going to try to run the ball." But no. John has taught me better to know that Rodgers is good through the air.
Did you guys happen to see that post-game interview last week with like the Frank Sinatra song playing? Did you catch that one? Where on NFL Network, where it's like he's at Lambeau Field and he's like saying like it's not cold enough. It's like we need it colder. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was really, really funny. Mostly because when Aaron Rodgers was talking, the Frank Sinatra Christmas song is playing like so loud that even Aaron Rodgers had to stop talking.
I didn't see that.
It was unbelievable.
Sorry we missed it. Yeah.
It was pretty good. It was when Aaron Rodgers has to stop talking during the middle of the interview to listen to Frank Sinatra sing a Christmas song. He was like, "Oh, it's a really good song." He's like, "Why is it so loud?" And he was also complaining about well, he wasn't complaining. I wouldn't say Aaron Rodgers complaining. Let's not say that, but he was definitely saying like, it's not cold enough here yet. It's only 34, he said at the time last week. So I don't know. He was definitely, but it was just very, very funny to see him interrupted during an interview by Frank Sinatra, Christmas song.
Old Blue Eyes himself. John, you've talked about the kid from California, now a veteran, and Aaron Rodgers, and then the Mississippi gunslinger, Brett Favre. The elements didn't really seem to impact them at all, did they? And they don't now, as Michael was saying, that you've taught us.
Well, they just did the Packers a favor. They let the ball go through. The ball on the 25. Yeah, it's the amazing thing is Brett Favre, I think, coming from Mississippi, he was just tough, and he could play in any elements. And he was the best cold weather quarterback in history. Now, again, having Reggie White and Leroy Butler on the defense sure helps. I mean, it helps you win those games. I think he was like 35-3 or something in his first, when it got below 35 degrees. But
I'm cold here now, so hold on a second.
That was a nice stop there by the defense on Derrick Henry, though.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
I can't quite make it out, Andrew, but it looks like a pretty sharp jacket. Does that have something to do with the Packers, does it?
Well, it's a combination. The Bucks are just starting, and of course, I'm excited about my new Giannis jersey that I'm wearing. But of course, the Packers shine through, so I had to put my jacket on.
You got it all going on tonight. Better run that time by Henry. Hey, while we have a moment, just quickly, would you'll do a better job than I did telling us about, we're kind of looking forward to your company to share just a little bit about what Elephantly does. You based in Paris, France, and certainly Shannon Gehringer back here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, what it's about is just helping brands out, getting out there and with SEO and with iPhone applications to mobile applications to whatever it is, whatever you need to do for your online presence, we're there. And that's where we're out. We're very excited about that.
Sorry, Andrew. Yeah.
And I'm excited about the Packer game, so that's why it's always tough to talk about it during the game.
Boy, it's his third interception in the last, I think, 5 games.
Yeah, that's right.
All it took was for me to jinx Tannehill to say that he doesn't turn the ball over much to get the turnover.
Well, Brown, their wide receiver, who he took it from, he stepped in front of, is just like Derrick Henry. I mean, he's just huge.
Mm.
And they got him in the second round, and it's unfortunate that the Packers couldn't have, but the Packers took Jenkins ahead of him. So there were some great wide receivers, and Seattle got a great wide receiver there in the second round. The second round, you can get your wide receivers in the second round. Devontae Adams was in the second round. Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson. Those guys are second round. Randall Cobb. So
Aaron Rodgers, basically second round.
Pretty close. He slid a long, long way, didn't he?
Yeah, he slid to 24. He was number 1 that year. And then about 10 days before, I saw an NFL.com mock draft where they had him going to the Packers at 24. And I about fell off my chair. And then who's the general manager of the Raiders now, who used to be at NFL.com. He was
Gruden? Not Gruden, but he's the coach, right? But someone else, the other guy.
Yeah, the other Mayock, Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock had a mock draft that year where he says, I have number 24, Packers, Aaron Rodgers. And they said, what is Aaron Rodgers doing at 24? He goes, I just look, and everybody with the cap can't afford to pay for quarterbacks, and he's going to drop, and he's going to drop. And Ted Thompson heard the same thing. So he sent Rosley, his quarterbacks coach or offensive coordinator, sent him to a workout that Rodgers' agent put out. So Rodgers did this workout, and he came back and he reported to Thompson. So what'd you think? And he said, well, he's got this goofy release where it's up near his ear. And Jeff Tedford, their coach at Cal, has him do that. And when that goofy release comes down, then I think he's going to be really good. And then so Bevel comes out, the quarterback's coach, and he says he's got a really goofy release, but we took him because we don't need him for the next 2-3 years. And we'll naturally allow that release to come down. And it couldn't have worked out better. He just sat and learned rather than being a boneheaded rookie quarterback behind a porous offensive line. And Favre took the big punishment during the offensive line rebuild. And wow, look at that time.
Mm-hmm. Nobody really open, though.
Ooh.
Well, that was
pretty dirty.
Awkward hit, huh?
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, Tom Rossley, a very, very good football coach. And as you said earlier, John, Darrell Bevel had a lot to do with altering that release of Aaron Rodgers. And, Alex Smith goes to San Francisco. Mike McCarthy, who became Aaron's coach, of course, was on the 49ers staff. So how ironic that they'd eventually come together and win a Super Bowl together.
That's the third interception this year that's been generated by
A.J. Dillon again?
A.J. Dillon.
That's
Michael
the
Rachel. Where is A.J. Dillon?
Generated by a bull rush by Rashawn Gary.
Yes, yeah, they were showing that. Good point.
Even last year, you could see that he could bull rush. He could just jack these guys, but he was just green as grass. Now he's only 22 years old. That is not good to see. Aaron Jones.
Mm-mm. Well, it may be on the.
Oh.
Jason Ruck, thank you. A toe injury is the word. Man.
Thanks, Jason.
He's always Mr. Clutch.
Oh.
Nice catch again. Look at Austin.
Boy, that was close.
Yeah.
Getting a little nervous, John?
Well, for an interception there, that was
yeah, right.
That was close. I think did they activate the Notre Dame Dexter Williams?
They did. Yeah, Dexter Williams. Yeah. So he's available. And I think they did activate Price, didn't they?
The defensive lineman?
Talking about him earlier.
Yeah.
Well, meantime, total yards very much in favor of A.J. Dillon and company. He is tough to bring down himself, isn't he?
Yeah, he's falling forward, which is good to see. And also they're having Daphne as that lead blocker. They're doing the two running backs in the backfield at a lot of times.
A little hurry up.
Penalty.
Roger saw it again, John?
Yeah, this was 12 men on the field, unless they're going to say
timeout.
Really? Thank you, Jason Ruck again. Officials not in position. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Come on.
That's an excuse that they give now to for the defenses.
Oh, jeepers creepers. Come on, guys. You're paid to be in position, whether it's a hurry up or not. Well, 3rd and 3, it's big.
You just can't move like Tim Conway did on the Carol Burnett show.
That's part of the reason we call him our Packers historian.
Yeah, show business too. That's my
right. Come on, AJ. Yes.
Man, he's impressing me today.
Yeah, agreed. And he may have to carry the lion's share of the load here.
Who needs Derrick Henry when you have AJ Dillon? 6 carries, 38 yards compared to Henry's 6 carries, 18 yards.
Yeah. And the time of possession, John's always looking at that. It has to favor
we can't trash talk their guy yet, right?
Time of possession 13:03 Packers, 5:29 Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now get in this one, and you can't run as much if you're Tennessee.
Yep.
I like that, but a little.
Oh, man.
Nice. What a toe drag.
Wow.
Beautiful. What timing.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I want to see that toe drag again with a different camera.
Wow.
He's better than a ballerina.
Ballerina time.
Yeah. Golly, that's just fantastic. Touchdown pass number 43, Michael. Is he helping his cause a little bit? I think he took maybe a half step back or so last week, Mr. Rogers. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I want to see this Crosby kick real quick, and then I'll elaborate on that. Nice. That one's more. That one's better. Yeah. But yeah, Pip, you're right. I don't know. I think. Oh, look at the crowning Devontae Adams on the sideline. I think Rodgers. I think he would be my MVP if the season ended today. I know I've been saying Mahomes the entire season, but it's been flipping for me. I haven't been impressed with Mahomes recently. There was a stat that came out. Mahomes has had 16 passes that were dropped as interceptions, compared to Rodgers just 6. So that's a lot. It's an NFL record of 16 dropped interceptions. So his stats are even better than they could be. And the Chiefs haven't been that impressive the last couple of weeks. I think Rodgers would be my MVP given the touchdown volume and the less interceptions.
Andrew, what do you think?
Well, I don't want to go back on the tapes that we have that recorded, but I will. Of course, I've said it from day one. I thought Michael might have said the guy from Seattle at one point. I'm just saying.
I did.
Yeah. We all did. Yeah, everyone thought that, but I would never say his name out loud.
Russell Wilson was incredible early on.
Yeah.
Dak was my preseason MVP favorite. He was going to be my MVP. He was my MVP pick before he got injured. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Does Alvin?
I don't know. Today, though, he did win, though. I don't know if you watched that earlier game. I was like, oh, my God, Atlanta, they're really good at the end of the year. They just play really good at the end of the year, it seems like, against anyone. The last couple of years, they do that.
Yeah, they just find a way. It seems like they have to be down a whole bunch before the best comes out. But this does not seem to be a perfect team. Although, what are they, 14-1? It's pretty tough to argue. But Russell Wilson has Seattle in a very good spot, too, so the pressure's on. I wonder if you guys feel that Alvin Kamara has come on to be in the MVP race with those 6 touchdowns, tying a record set by Ernie Nevers in 1929. That even precedes Dodds and Pippins. 1929.
Oh, my goodness.
I got
to say, I'm still scared. After what I saw with not the Patriots, but, of course, the Buccaneers, I'm still scared. I don't want to see them get hot. I don't like that at all. I don't like anything about Tampa Bay. After that one game we saw, it's a little bit weird. So I hope we never face them. Hope we just don't have to worry about it.
Well, if the Packers beat Chicago next week, and they have the number 1 seed, that means that Tampa Bay has to play the Rams and the Saints before they would play Green Bay. So that's not going to happen. They're going to lose. So this bye is huge for the Packers.
Yeah.
Pip, going
They
back
still-
to your go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, I was just saying, like, out of all those teams, they still worry me the most, actually.
Pip, going back to your Kamara question, whether he would be an MVP, I don't think so. Just because at the running back position, I think in order to win an MVP, you have to win the rushing title, and he's not going to do that because of Henry. I know he has 21 touchdowns, I think it is now, combined with rushing and receiving. But I don't know. In my opinion, if you're a running back, you have to win the rushing title to even be considered in the MVP case.
Okay, I'll go for that. Another salient point. Boy, 19-0. This is what you wanted, right, John? The doctor ordered it. Get off fast. Forced him into passing and sack.
Look at this defense. Man.
Woo-hoo. Wow.
I really thought Tennessee would be able to move the ball pretty easily today and put up a lot of points, but this defense has been incredible.
I love it. But it's always second half. Every time I think about the Packers, I think about the second half now.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. You're right, Andrew, that hopefully that offense will keep the pedal to the metal. Great effort.
Nice blocking by Tennessee there. Untouched to Darius Smith.
But when you look at the field and you see the snow, though, I gotta love it.
Oh,
nice play.
Did you see that Z Smith bought a Christmas present for
Yeah.
E. Smith?
I'm glad you brought that up for Preston.
See that?
Yeah.
What did it cost? About 50 grand, JD?
Yeah, it was like
$80,000. I heard it was an $80,000 Jeep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some esprit de corps. So I hope they don't cut one of them in the off season because everyone will be mad.
But do you know there's like a history behind? Do you know there's like a story that's going on about the Packers and Aaron and the most highly paid offensive lineman that we have now? It's supposed
Look
to
at
buy
this
him.
defense.
It's supposed-
Yes.
There it is.
My goodness.
So this goes to Michael, though. By the way, this is a little. Michael, this is
Yes.
a little bit of a Pat McCaffrey. You know the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
I like to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that Aaron goes on that show and talks about the offensive lineman on the Packers, of course, who has the biggest contract in the history of time.
Right.
So he wants to get a certain car from him. So he keeps like hinting it the whole time on the show. So I think that the Smiths doing that might help his cause.
4th and 27. Man.
Rodgers wants like a way more expensive car than that one, I think, though. Something like
Well,
a
you
Bentley of sorts or something.
You can put this game out of reach with a nice drive here.
Yep.
I'm shocked personally. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really
Especially with
surprised by this defense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That last drive was 3 plays minus 17 yards.
I mean, Henry, 6 carries, 18 yards. That's it.
This is like everything we ever wanted.
Kirksey
Can
had
it-
1 sack for 7 yards. Z Smith, 1 sack for 10 yards. And yeah, this is ideal, blowout city, because you go down and score, then you could basically say to them, run all you want.
Yeah.
Look
Tannehill has more sacks than completions, and he's got as many turnovers as completions as well.
I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, if this ends up being a blowout, you certainly
Right.
take. Nobody saw it. I think everyone in the pregame show on TMJ Radio, 35-30. I tell you what, James Jones
James Jones did. Yeah.
in a rout. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Pip,
Yeah,
total
Dave.
net yards, 169 for Green Bay, 22 for Tennessee.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Blowing out this game would be unbelievable because this was our big test, I think.
Well, no, the Bears next week, the Bears have scored over 31 points the last 4 weeks. So they're coming back a little bit. This will be interesting. The Bears might need this to win. I don't know what if the Cardinals lose next week, are the Bears in?
I think
Bears
the
would be in.
Bears, if they win, are in at 9-7.
But if they lose to the Packers and the Cardinals lose, I think the Bears are in. I think.
Correct. Unless there's
So
another team that
I
could
don't
get to
think so.
8-8, but I don't think so either because Minnesota can't
So-
get there.
So Rodgers would play then, right? So it sounds like
Oh yeah, Rodgers is going to play. I was hoping that the Rams could win today because I wanted to see Boyle and Love play against the Bears just to see how they do. But I can live
now
with it.
it's like an MVP. Like now I feel like Rodgers could just like throw a few more touchdowns here, a couple more there, and just like seal that MVP now.
Yeah, well, let's see.
Oh,
That's-
John, you
Michael
bring up
said-
an interesting point. What's that?
Pardon?
No, I
Pardon
was
you?
just I was gonna bring up John's point to Chicago could lose next week if Arizona loses. Arizona plays the Rams. So if Arizona were to win that game, you could have 3 teams at 9-7, and I don't know what that tiebreaker would be.
What about the Rams? Are they in trouble? What was that,
Broke
Jason?
his thumb.
Goff
He hit his
broke
head-
his thumb.
He hit his
Oh,
head on the
really?
helmet.
Oh, what a pass and catch.
So the Rams, I'm not sure what that 3-way tie would be, but the Rams could be on the outside looking
That's
in.
why I wonder if they're in trouble now. They stumbled against the
trouble.
Jets.
They're in trouble if the Rams lose. They're out.
Yeah, man.
Is that what
And
it is?
Goff is
I
out?
think it
That's
is.
what Jason said? Goff is out, huh? Who's
Yeah,
the backup there?
He threw the ball. He threw
Oh.
the ball and it went right on the helmet.
Well, that's a Brett Favre type injury, JD.
Yeah, but Brett Favre's was at like the top from the knuckle to the tip. This one looked like it was a little bit lower.
Hmm.
This one, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah,
Mhm.
Favre was unbelievable. Just wrap it up and I'll play.
Yeah.
The Rams do not really have a backup quarterback unless you've heard of John Wolford before. That's the only other quarterback listed on their depth chart.
I have not.
He used to play for the.
I have
How about
I have
Matt
not as well.
Yeah.
Fitzmagic the other day though, huh?
Yeah. He was awesome, wasn't he? Wasn't it a great story, Andrew? Did you hear what he had to say about having to go to the bathroom so badly? And he went in.
I heard
and said,
that.
You know?
He wasn't afraid about saying that. There's been a conversation recently in NFL about, remember that whole Paul Pierce thing, and then the other, who was the other quarterback who had something going on, and everyone thought he went to the bathroom. He wasn't afraid to say it. So that was kind of nice that, and he wasn't afraid to say it, Fitzpatrick. So.
Well, as you say, there was Fitzmagic there. Loving the way. Oh, there's a
Yeah.
symbol there.
That's
huh?
an interesting team there, Miami. I don't know what to think of them.
The time of possession is 15-15 for Green Bay, 7-15 for Tennessee. So it's 8 minutes more for Green Bay, and they're starting to look tired. Dillon looked like he ran over a couple of guys.
The offensive line has been outstanding, hasn't it?
Takes much more energy to play defense than offense.
Yeah. It's easier for the offense, isn't it, John, in conditions such as this?
Well, yeah, plus you're in a confined space, knowing what you're going to do rather than reacting.
Look
Oh,
at this.
AJ.
Man,
3rd and 3. Just give it right to him.
look at it. And he's pumped. Hurt down.
Do you think like the teams like can hear each other, and that's like where it comes down to, like the home field advantage when you can hear each other from the other field because no one's really there, right?
Mm-hmm. You're right.
I still haven't seen an update on Aaron Jones, so hopefully he's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm thinking that,
He's
Michael.
not
That's the
coming
only
back.
negative. Wow.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
When you say toe, John, do you think turf toe right away, or could it be something else?
Yeah, I'm always worried about turf toe, but
AJ
that was
again.
impressive.
Man.
All right, so I'm going to ask the question now. Why haven't we seen AJ Dillon earlier? I mean, he's playing out of his mind right now.
Because the other running backs are too good, and Jamal Williams is playing out of his mind,
Mhm.
Well, then COVID happened.
and then COVID.
True. What about last week when Jamal Williams went down? We saw Dylan come in for
I
one
heard
carry.
you say that.
Yeah.
Yep, when you did such a magnificent job. Tuned in and said, Mike, where is AJ? One carry, 18. I heard Tim Van Voren say maybe they didn't like the way he finished the run or whatever, but hey, I don't think there was anything wrong with that. I don't know why they went away. That's where you like to be able to have the microphone to ask a question here.
Yeah.
I think it was blitz pickup. Aaron Jones was still in the backfield. Aaron Jones does a really nice job of blitz pickup. So when they're in pass pro, they want to make sure there's not a bonehead running back who's letting somebody untouched to the franchise on a play action fake.
And Aaron Jones on Twitter, it's being said that Aaron Jones is back in the game now.
Oh, good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I called another one.
Nice.
I'll show John I'm tough.
Yeah.
See, John, everybody listens to you, man.
Well, they sure do. Not even my wife
It
listens
is
to me.
Rogers.
I like to see AJ Dillon find the end zone, though. I feel like he should get rewarded tonight.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, there's Jones. Okay. Well, it's just great to see him back in there, right?
And he was worked pretty heavily last week. I'll have to go back to see how many touches he had, but I think it was over 20 against Carolina. Yeah, he had 20 carries. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Can you, when you're a rookie like that, can you develop this thing on the fly, the blitz pickup, or does it just take time? Especially
it just takes time. It just takes them a year or two to get it.
Yeah,
Next year he'll be so much better.
I don't know how serious the injury. What is it? A quad to Williams? Pass, baby.
Oh, if he kept running, he might have had it.
Yeah.
He kind of pushed off, but it's tough. It's tough to get depth perception when there's a lot of snow. He kind of
looked
he kind of held up.
Yeah. I was going to say looked like a hole, but not really. Let's see. Look at Aaron. Should have had it.
It almost looked like Tunyon was posting him up a little bit, expecting it to be like a jump ball kind of pass.
Mm-hmm.
That was blocked.
Oh, no.
Make a tackle. Make a tackle. Make a tackle.
Please. Oh, look at J.K. Scott. Look at him. He gets up like he just made a Super Bowl saving tackle. He
Great
did what the
special
Lord
team.
told him to do. Don't run away, golf darn it.
Ay.
Not happy at all. This is
man.
this is a big turnaround here.
Oof.
Oh
Wow.
Thank you, Jason.
Oh man.
Are the football gods?
Oh, now they're gonna go for it. Now they're going for it.
Sure.
I think it's 4th and 3 now. I think it was a 4th and 8.
I don't think they want to see a field goal, huh?
Right.
Wow.
Did he just line up offsides?
Yeah, 56 might have lined up offside.
Oh, I don't know.
Who was it? Was that 56?
I think it was 46 on the left end.
He doesn't think so. Naturally. My gosh. There have been a couple. That was obviously an absolutely huge call. And they had
what a
one
turnaround.
Right, a hole that helped the Packers keep a drive alive.
Yeah, defense. Yeah. This would be quite the turnaround.
It would. I was going to say, you could be talking a 14-point swing if we can
Right.
get the down. No. Dang it. I'll tell you that they have not given up. That's for certain. And whether the play counts or not, maybe there's a little spark because of it.
Well, it was a 50-yard difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the first sack of Rodgers?
I think
We've had some heat on him, though, as Mike
It
was
is, yes.
Yep.
Hits.
17 yards.
There's a lot of football left, and I am just eager as can be to see how they come out of that locker room in the second half. And Tennessee gets the ball, right? So they'd love to score and get it again.
Pip, first
How
down,
about the second half?
15-2.
Pardon me?
First
John?
downs, Green Bay 15, Tennessee 2.
Ooh.
Time of possession, 18:30 for the Packers, 7:14 for Tennessee.
Well, let's see if the defense can make another stand. Andrew, out there in Paris, what is it like in the Packer bar and that sort of thing? Do you get the vibe like there's a lot of excitement there about the green and gold?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course,
COVID
normally
notwithstanding.
we would, without COVID,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. We have an 8 o'clock curfew here right now, and I
Mm.
think it's going to get worse soon because of some stuff that happened in the UK. You know, there's like a new strand of COVID, they say. Yeah, not looking so good for that, but luckily we get to watch it on TV and enjoy it in that way. But yeah, I mean, it's all about the second half. I feel I'm excited for us to just just really destroy someone besides the Bears in the second half. Someone like, pretend they're the Bears and just like really do well in the second half. So hopefully that happens, and that would be great because I'm a little bit nervous about these other teams. Still nervous about the Patriots, even though they shouldn't be good, but not happy that they won the way they won the other night. Don't want to have Brady have confidence like that.
Oh, you're talking about the Buccaneers. Yeah, it's so easy to Patriots.
Just nervous about things like that. This teams like that about because I always worry about that like the Niners last year, a team like that. We got destroyed by the Bucks, and I just worry that they have our numbers. So I just really want to be prepared for that. So hopefully we have it all figured out.
Michael, you saw the replay. Did you think that there was a penalty there, that they were offside on the blocked field goal?
Yeah, I saw they brought in the rules analyst to talk about it. I don't have the audio on, so I'm not sure. But from my vantage point, it didn't.
Really? Okay. Jason Ruck picking us up, our producer. Yeah.
I think the ref made a mistake. I think the thing was on 56, not 46.
Yeah, because 46 looked fine, but
it's really easy to see on the TV, but it's very difficult. Say from the press box down, you can barely see the action, and maybe the official, who's 25 yards off, misread the guy. It wasn't 46, it was 56.
Well, it does speak, though, to special teams concerns that we've been talking about for weeks. Rashawn Gary made a real nice play on that first play on Derrick Henry before the big gainer there.
Maybe his best running play ever as a Packer.
Is it the combination of strength and athleticism that they saw in him coming out of Michigan, John?
All the intangibles. He can run really well. He's quick. It just doesn't translate into maybe toughness, but it translates into bull rushing power.
Oh, nice catch by AJ Brown.
Yeah.
See, that's where he's really good. That he is huge.
That was a tight window to get it through, it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
He makes Sterling Sharp look small. I mean, this guy is like a guard.
I love hearing just Sterling Sharp being mentioned is awesome.
Boy, he was ticketed for the Hall of Fame before the injury. There are some who think, John, that Sharp could be a Hall of Famer, kind of borderline anyway. We can talk about that at some point. Right now, this game could get close if you don't come up with a stop. Michael, is Henry pretty reliable in terms of, I don't believe he has a reputation at all of being a fumbler, does he?
No, not that I know of. I don't think he's known for injury or fumbling. I think he's very durable on both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any statistic or anything, though, to back that up, but that's just what I think. I'll try to find that.
Speaking of fumblers, How about Jonathan Taylor, the former Badger JD? Couple of touchdowns for the Colts. He's really coming on, isn't he?
Yeah, these rookies, the light goes on, and he's got speed. I know Gary Ellerson would just love the way he played, and thought he was just a terrific back. Great value getting him where they got him.
Just want to bring something up on that catch by AJ Brown. Jair Alexander might have saved a touchdown with that tackle. I thought he did really well. He got like picked a little bit by our own defender and still was able to tackle him. He might have been gone.
He's had a Pro Bowl year and he's being rewarded. And I think you pointed out 6 of the 7 are going to be starting. Well, they're not playing the game, correct? But even so.
Right.
Not Big Bob like he should.
Yeah, you're right. We were saying that too. Bob Tanyan. I don't know if does he go by first it was Robert Tanyan. Now it's Bob Tanyan. Is it ever going to be Robert or is it Bob? Because Rogers always calls him Bobby or Bob, right?
Yeah, I think they figured out the last name and then they're like Big Bob Tunyon makes sense. You know, like when your name is Ton,
yeah,
it makes sense. Now your name is Big.
I'm still working on Tony Dorsett.
Yes, out of Pitt, right?
Right, Tony Dorsett and Joe Theismann.
Yeah, I was going to say great one out of Notre Dame.
Yeah,
Joe Theismann to Joe Theismann. I remember Joe Theismann. Yeah, go ahead.
He was the best. Yeah, Joe Theismann. I mean, he had no protection in his helmet. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was an outstanding player and a good analyst. I'll never forget the story though. One of the Packers, and the name will go unshared here. But I think the Packers had a workout or something, and Mr. Theismann was in as part of the TV crew, John, and they had food all over the place. And this one player in particular had his sandwich. And when he got in there, he looked up and there was Joel Theismann eating his sandwich. And he wasn't very happy that Joel decided to down his sub.
Well, if it was Ezra Johnson's hot dog, he would have been a dead man.
Did you ever, I think, John, you got to talk to LT, right? At one point, you had okay. Every time I think of Theismann, I think, of course, LT, of course, you know.
Yeah, LT, that was
terrific hit. Yeah. Well, meantime, Tennessee moving it, and they'll get that ball coming out of the locker room.
Pip, going back to Derrick Henry real quick, he has 8 career fumbles in 76 games, and 5 of those came last year. He has just 1 fumble this year, so maybe a little bit of a fumbling problem last year, but it was his first year rushing over 300 times as well. So this year he's more improved on the turnover side of it.
Thank you for that.
They think he's going to be like 3rd in MVP, right? He's like right up there.
Well, he's approaching 2,000, so I don't think he's going to get that, but a couple of big games. Was it
6 plays, 42 yards so far in this drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost 1,700 yards coming in. That's one of the few times, Michael, that you've seen him break tackles. They've done, as you said, a reasonably good job. What are his numbers so far?
I'll go check. It was 6 of 18 last time I checked.
10 for 38.
Yeah, so that last one I think was 11 yards, and that was by far the best run of the day for him. They've done an outstanding job on him. I feel like.
Mm-hmm. But
Hold him to a
Tannehill's
field goal. Hold him to a field goal.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
What were you gonna say, Pip, about Tannehill?
He's getting into a rhythm, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas before he looked lost, the Packers had all kinds of pressure. Mike Pettin's got to fix that mask a little bit. Maybe he needs the headset or something in the ear. Looks like it's tilted.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Kenny
Clark.
Wow.
Boy, the last 5 games, that groin must be totally healed finally.
That's a big play. Hopefully they can capitalize. Keep him from the long gainer. Look out. Oh, man. Come on, Kevin King, really. He is not a very good tackler, is he? He's either throwing his shoulders or hitting high.
Well, he's got chronically bad shoulders.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know why he uses them. Remember, was it last week or the week before?
just tackle him low.
Right. That's a pretty good job by Sullivan. Meanwhile, though, this is a drive that could lead to a TD.
9 plays, 59 yards, 328 so far.
And 43 seconds on the clock. Come on, fellas, rise up. Yeah, touchdown.
Jonnu Smith, their big tight end.
He is big, too.
Yeah.
Wow. They made that look pretty easy, didn't they? 10 plays, 71 yards, 339. Gentlemen, we have a game instead of a blowout. How big was that Tennessee stop?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to Andrew's point earlier, see how they do in the second half, Packers on offense.
And Tennessee will get the ball to start the second half. So this could be a 1-score game.
Yeah, you said it.
Still 2 timeouts, 37 seconds left.
Yeah.
Still time. We got to go extra far today with the snow to get into field goal range.
Yeah. And even then, after that block.
Yeah.
I just waited for us to dominate someone. Like, I gotta say, like, I think our coach has done a great job, but I don't know if we've ever dominated anyone except for someone in our division. Really dominated someone. I don't know. You guys can tell me different, but I was waiting for that day.
San Francisco we won by. I mean, it was against their B team, but that was a 30-plus point win.
Yeah, I don't know if that one counted. Yeah, but that was kind of like a revenge for all the bad things that ever happened to us.
Yeah.
In the cap era, you can't dominate anybody.
I wanted to win by more than that in that San Francisco game.
That's the fan in you, no question. JD, our friend Steve the Homer True had an interesting observation this week. He said, Matt LaFleur, 24-6 in his first 30 games. Steve Mariucci, when he coached the 49ers, 24-6. Mooch, the former Packers assistant and close bud of number 4, couldn't win very much in the playoffs. Had a great quarterback. LaFleur has a great quarterback. Let's hope that his playoff history is a little bit better. What do you think, John?
Well, Mariucci was playing with an older Steve. Well, Steve Young was in his prime. And then Ronnie Lott and the defense started to get old about that time. And so you had Jerry Rice. I think Taylor was out. Trying to think that little running back they had that was pretty good that started getting hurt. I think they had Ricky Waters, but he started getting hurt and they subbed him out. Yeah, it's all about talent. And I think when you gave the big contract to Steve Young and gave the big contract to Jerry Rice pretty soon, and you had to, pretty soon you can't afford any of the other players. And then their drafts weren't as good. They did a big trade up in '95 for J.J. Stokes, where they gave up like 4 picks to go up, and that seemed to be the master move. Meanwhile, Ron Wolf kept trading back and got all these. He got Freeman, William Henderson, Holland, and Brian Williams, the linebacker, in the third round of that draft. So I don't know. I think it was bad drafting, and their best players got old.
Yeah, and you say J.J. Stokes, a big receiver, but not very fast, a foot out of UCLA, if memory serves.
Yeah.
What do you think? Should they take a shot or two, Michael, down here? What do you do with 31 seconds?
Yeah, I am. If I'm LaFleur, I'm going for it. 2 timeouts, maybe get a pass interference call as well, get a big chunk of yards. What I don't want to see them do is just hand it off to Jones or Dillon on first down, see how many yards he gets, and decide from there. I'd like to push the envelope right away.
What do you think, John?
Live for another day. Live for the second half. Spread them out. Maybe run if you get more than 10 yards. Call a timeout.
Well, I'm with a young
And
gun.
obviously, Tennessee
MVS
did
time.
not think they didn't think they were going to go 4 wides like they did.
Yeah.
So they called timeout, but
And this defense, though, even with that touchdown they just gave up,
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy with how they're playing.
Mm-hmm. But Tennessee offense, all of a sudden, they get into a little bit of a rhythm, get some confidence. But as you say, I mean, it's tough to complain with where they're at right now. It's the Pippin Dodge Packers podcast with Michael Rachel, Matt LaFleur, and Mike Vrabel. What do you think LaFleur, Michael, learned from Vrabel last year? Just being on his staff. He's a good coach, isn't he? That former outstanding player, Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I like Vrabel a lot. I think it was Vrabel's first year as well when LaFleur was there for his 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. I'm assuming they worked really close together, given that Vrabel wasn't a long tenured head coach. But yeah, it looks like Green Bay is just going to let this one go to the half. Or not.
Carolina beating Washington, huh? And all of a sudden, Mike McCarthy's Cowboys, they have to have another Washington loss, right? And they have to win, beat the Giants, and they're in. And if Washington loses and the Giants win, then the Giants are. What a crazy NFL East, NFL least.
It's very crazy. And we'll see if Alex Smith is healthy for next week, because he didn't play today and they had to start Dwayne Haskins. Washington did. And he had one of the worst games I've seen since Nathan Peterman in Buffalo. So, if it's Haskins starting for Washington next week, I think that Giants versus Dallas game will be a win and in situation.
Give Mike McCarthy a lot of credit for sure.
Did Tennessee call timeout there?
No, Green Bay. So Tennessee took one and then Green Bay took one.
He's going. He's listening to Michael Rachel. But is there anybody open? Just be
come on, make a block. One more.
Okay.
That was a
live for another down.
14-second play.
Go, go, go.
You want the bomb too, Andrew?
Oh, yeah. What we need right now.
Yeah, he wanted to throw it, didn't he? John, have you seen many greater throws than the one Rodgers made there to beat the Lions to Richard Rodgers?
Yeah, that a UWM engineering professor said that thing went up 13 stories high, was at 62 miles per hour, and the Packers called time. No?
I don't think they did, huh? I don't know if they had it to use.
They had one left. Yeah, they decided not to use it.
I was right outside of Notre Dame when that happened. Just saying, that Hail Mary that 1 year. It was I think it was at 4:48 a.m. here when that happened.
Maybe you threw up a little prayer as the great Packers fan that you are.
I did take a picture on my way to the game of Notre Dame. I don't know if that helped, but whatever it takes. I'll take whatever it takes.
Well, it's good to have you here, a late hour that it is, or early morning, whatever it might be there in Paris, France. Andrew O'Grogan, and look forward to more with you in the second half. John Dodds, Michael Rachel, our producer Jason Ruck, the Pippin Dodds Packers podcast with Michael Rachel. Should we take a timeout, fellas, and then we'll get back in a few minutes for the second half?
Is there a place where we can check emails in case there's questions? Or do they get sent to Mike?
Mike, I usually send them to Mike, but I think there's some from before, but I can send them on through. I can check. Okay. Usually I go check because I get them from different areas, and then some of them are really bad. But hopefully during the game there's some good ones, and we'll see. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get some good ones in the second half.
All right.
Okay. Jason, take a break. Okay with you and come back? Okay, very good. Thanks, fellas. Well, we're back on the Pip and Dodds Packers podcast with Michael Rachel, and from Elephantly, our crack marketing team, Andrew O'Grogan in Paris, the incomparable John Dodds, the Packers historian, and Michael Rachel, who I predict is going to be a real star in television sports, if not radio or both. Got that kind of a future. Michael, you did a super job filling in for me when I had family Christmas last Saturday. Why don't you take it away for a while here, buddy? First of all, your observations on the first half, and just you lead, we'll follow.
All right, I can do that. I appreciate the kind words as well, but I don't know. I think you're a little better at it than I am, but we'll go for it. Rodgers, 3 touchdowns in the first half. I didn't even really notice that. 15 of 18, 140 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he was super efficient. Quarterback rating of 138.7. On the other side, Tannehill just 6 of 10 for 66 yards with a touchdown and a pick. The story for me has been the Packers' rushing defense. Henry has 11 carries for 35 yards. That's just 3.2 per carry, which is way lower than I believe he's been averaging 5 yards per carry coming into today. And then the Packers have sacked Tannehill twice. So defensively, I think it's been really good. But as Andrew's been saying, the second half is always our kryptonite. So it'll be interesting to see. Pip, what was your takeaway from the first half?
Yeah, I agree with you 110%. I would feel really good if not for that last drive by Tennessee. And now, as you say, they're getting the ball back. It's good to see Devontae Adams after scoring in, 8 straight games, shutout last week, 2 touchdowns. He was on the other end of 2 aerials from Rodgers. But I think this is a very important possession, don't you?
Yeah, I think it is. If you can get a stop here, you're up 2 scores with the ball rather than it being a 1-score game and the pressure's all the way back on you after being up 19-0. Yeah. Aaron Jones, hopefully he's healthy. He's been nursing that toe injury for the first half. He came back towards the end, but we'll see if A.J. Dillon can keep it rolling. John, what do you think? Are you scared for this third quarter?
I don't see John just yet. I don't know if his
I'm concerned. I'm concerned about it, but it's time to put up or shut up, and they know how important it is. And the special teams is not giving them good field position.
JD, I think you've got to work on your video. Can you, it might be me, but we're not seeing your handsome face. At least I'm not.
I'm not either.
You have your video punched on there, JD?
Yeah.
There he is.
Now I can breathe easily, Michael. Come on. He's our man.
Titans go right back to that running game. That touchdown, as you mentioned, Pip, it allows them to keep that full playbook open on this drive. At least they can use Henry, take a lot of time off the clock, and see if they can get 7 from that. But they don't have to force the issue yet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice catch.
A.J. Brown shaking up. It feels like most of his catches have come over the middle for A.J. Brown, but he's banged up. If he's not able to return, that would be a big help for the Packers.
How do you rank him among pass catchers in the league, Michael?
That's a good question. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I wouldn't put him like top 7 yet.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as future goes, if I were to draft somebody today, I think he'd be in my top 5 as far as his age and what he's been able to show so far. I'd have him below DK Metcalf though in that future, but he's definitely one of the up and comers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is limping over there on the sidelines. Yeah. John, I like what you had to say. Put up or hush up, Love it.
Yeah, it's time to do that. I'm really high on Brown. He and DK Metcalf are kind of the new TOs, just really big guys who can make plays. If you had a better quarterback, if you were on the Packers, it would be amazing. He'd be the perfect complement to Adams.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're doing. There he goes. He's being Henry. Looks like he's getting some steam up. It just seems like the momentum has changed since that drive toward the end of the second quarter.
I saw a stat during halftime. I was browsing Twitter, and Aaron Rodgers is 69-1-1 when leading at halftime in Lambeau Field.
Really?
Pretty incredible stat.
Yes.
So what the tie? There was a tie?
Yeah, there was a tie and one loss.
Hmm.
I'm not sure who it was. But yeah, that's crazy.
Mhm.
Oh, nice play.
Oh my
Wow, they had
gosh,
him
it faked
fooled.
me out. I don't
Yeah,
know
it
if they
faked
can
me out
get
as
him.
well. What a play call.
Gosh. Oh,
Third
my.
and 1.
He's got pretty good wheels too, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm surprised he's able to go to the distance.
John?
Wow.
Oh, 5 plays, 66 yards. It totally faked me out, guys. I don't know about you. I was
Yeah,
going.
and somebody got fooled late. Was that Amos?
Maybe. Now I thought I heard before the game that that Tannehill, before coming to the pros, he played a receiver position or something. So we know he's an athlete, but he had some afterburners going on. Cheapers.
Yeah. Ooh. Just like that, 14-0 run for Tennessee on the double up from the end of the first half and start of the second half. That's a great play call because I think I was expecting Henry to get that on 3rd and 1. All they needed to get was 1 yard. You'd think the horse would get the touch there, but kept it with Tannehill.
Yeah, they've talked about how great he is on play action passes. Well, that was a play action quarterback run. What are you thinking, John?
Tannehill has 54 yards. Derrick Henry has 47.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's back to the offense. They've got to start playing. You sure wish you didn't lose those 3 points. Mike Holmgren was the master. I learned that way back. Always take the points.
Mm-hmm. Well, plus the extra point that he missed, right, Mason?
The 2 extra, yeah, that caused another extra point to be missed. 2-point conversion, so you're down 2 points.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, even missing after the first touchdown, saying you hope that doesn't come back to haunt you. The Pippin Dodds Packers podcast with Michael Rachel. So, Michael, you take it away. Any questions yet at pippindodds.com/ask?
Yeah, a couple of questions came in, so let me bring those up here. One thing before I do, Tannehill now has more rushing yards than Derrick Henry does tonight, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But let's see here. We'll go with Mary from Cedarburg. John, I'll throw this one to you. She asks, how big is the home field for the Packers with no crowd? Is this a perfect example tonight?
Well, I would say that the home field means very little in the era of COVID because the fans can't scream and make it more difficult for the opponent. I know Rodgers in domes with quiet can dominate at the line of scrimmage. He showed that in New Orleans earlier in the year. So home field is big only because you can play 2 games to get to the Super Bowl, not 3. But in terms of being outdoors and being cold, I don't think it's an advantage.
And I know the Packers ruled out fans for the rest of the regular season. Have they released anything about playoff attendance yet? Have either of you seen that? I haven't seen anything on that.
I must say I have not.
Yeah.
John,
they were doing the employees thing first, and then maybe to bring some other, family and employees. Andrew?
well, I was just thinking of what John said. I mean, if you just think what happened with Tom Brady doing what he just did to Detroit, I know they're missing some guys, but that was in Detroit. I mean, that is unheard of to just go up by such a margin. I mean, obviously, it didn't matter where they were playing that game. So that's a good example of home field not really mattering, at this point.
There's an interesting statistic, huh? Rodgers, 132.6 passer rating on 10-plus air yards, first in the league. This drive, we talked about the Titans drive, Michael, being important. I think this drive is absolutely huge. They've got to.
Yeah, you got to score here, and it's just the mindset to give you confidence in that third quarter of how bad you've been. Nice run by Jones here, bounced off, kicked it outside. Oh, he's still in.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure his left foot was out, but what a run!
Yeah. Oh my goodness, you're right. There was nothing there. He bounced off.
Yeah.
JD, you're with us, right? I don't think we have your video again. If you can come on back in, please.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay. And we hear you, but we don't see you.
Okay. Did he step out of bounds? Did he stay in bounds here?
Michael thinks he might have stepped.
I think he stepped out, but
Yeah.
I think his left foot. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Nice catch, Michael.
Oh, they're not going to get it. They got away with it.
They got the playoff.
Wow. I wonder. So where did he step out? I don't know. I didn't catch it in the real time, but it had to have been
the 32-yard line. I thought it was.
So about a 22-yard advantage or a gain there, based on where it should have been.
JD, are you eating a steak sandwich or something that we can't see? I don't
No.
Are you at DJ's having a burger, which would be really nice?
Don Matovich, yeah.
Or maybe are you at Cops right now? I dream of Cops.
Yep.
From here, from Paris. I think about Cops.
Lots of time.
Hey,
Number 3 for Devontae.
Wow.
And number 4 for Rodgers.
Critical.
Yeah.
How many is that now?
Oh, man.
4?
Got to be lucky.
3.
Did they say what yard line that
4
was?
touchdown
33?
I still haven't seen it. I don't have my audio on, so I'm not sure. I couldn't tell on the replay either because of the snow. Oh, man, you just lost him.
Wide open. So he has 3 of the 4 Rodgers TD tosses.
That's what Rodgers needs. Maybe like 5 TDs to kind of go over the top, I feel, for the MVP talk.
True, he's got 4 already. Yeah, that's such a reassuring drive, just given what we've seen from against the Jaguars, against the Panthers in the last couple of weeks of just poor second half play. So that's good to see.
Maybe it was the visibility. It's different. It's really difficult to see in a snow globe game, and depending on how much it, even if it's 10 yards away, maybe the ref didn't see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 touchdowns, as you mentioned, Pip, for Devontae Adams, 7 catches, 64 yards. I think he's a little mad from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were saying before the game also that the star players in a game such as this one, John, they have to come to play, don't they? And certainly the stars have come out tonight at Lambeau Field.
What a great move. I mean, it looked like it was a no gainer, and he spins around. That play might have, Drew Rosenhaus is thinking that's another million. That's what he's thinking. We just went from 9 to the Packers increased their offer to 10.8.
We got a lot of money to owe people right now.
Does anyone know anything about the severity of Williams? I mean, he was pretty much doubtful all week, wasn't he, Michael? He didn't have a chance of playing according to the injury reports, never really took part in practice.
Yeah, and he was ruled out last week during the game. So, but I'm not sure if it's multi-week or if they just basically are giving him the week off to see how it'll react next week. I'm not sure on that.
Mm-hmm. Quad injury.
Yeah. But AJ Dillon's filled in for him very nicely. He's definitely the star of the game for me so far. 10 carries, 51 yards. I know, Pip, you've been asking for him since week 1. So this has to be exciting for you to see as well.
Even at my age, Michael, you'd be surprised. Old farts such as myself can get all kind of excited. I'm looking at Devontae Adams. These numbers are rather exhilarating. He has 98 receptions. I think this is inclusive of this evening. 1,186 yards for a 12.1 average, 56 with his long, and he has a total of 14 touchdowns. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Is it 14 touchdowns or was it 14 coming into today?
You
Not
could
sure.
be right, although I thought they included that. I'm going from Tennessee on down to the opener against
You
the
could be
Vikings.
right. I just it seems like he had.
Seems like more, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you compare?
Here's the replay of the run.
All right.
43.
43. Jeez.
I'm surprised Tennessee didn't react quicker. What was
Yeah.
the story there?
Yeah. Get him. Nice.
Kevin King.
Looked like they might have gotten Tannehill's arm.
Yeah, somebody in the secondary was asking him to pick up the ball in case it was a fumble. But
To get back to getting that pressure on.
yeah, I wonder how many hits they have on Tannehill today. It's got to be a fair amount.
Yeah, it's far from over. Maybe this will get into that high-scoring close game that everybody was talking about. Hope not.
John, are you impressed by the defense so far? 14 points going up to Tennessee. Are you surprised?
They're winning the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and we haven't really seen that throughout the whole year either, where they're making these tackles for loss in the back.
But a bad team against the run can jack themselves up for an individual game. They just can't do it for the whole year.
Yeah, we'll see next week if they can put it back. Get him again. Oh, good pressure.
Oh, Savage again?
I thought that was 6.
Jeepers creepers. It's
Wow.
4th down still.
They're all
John,
over the
to your
place.
point, Savage has just been on fire over the last several games. He's the player, John, you were so high on before he got hurt last year, right? Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
But
he's looking at the score. He was looking at 6.
Yep.
Yeah, he made all his stats last year, 90% of them before he got hurt in about 4 games. And after he got hurt, he just was not. Jeez, did that hit him?
I don't think so. I think it's just the camera angle. It looked.
Maybe a good
macro.
Taylor there trying to get out of the way, or
Yeah.
ooh.
Boy, you got to be lucky, and that's a 59-yard run that probably should have been about maybe a 25-yard run. So it was from the 43, and then they marked it about the 12, didn't they? So they got an extra 31 yards on that play.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. So that's 20. That's 35 yards benefit. Well, that's the home field advantage, I guess. We'll call it that.
He's John Dodge, the Packers historian. Michael Rachel has come on and really increased the level of our play. And it's always been good with JD there. So we're just so thankful. Pip and Dodge Packers podcast with Michael Rachel. And Jason Ruck is the best producer I know. And we're thankful for his commitment every week. And we also thank Elephant Lee, our marketing crew for Milwaukee. Nice. Once again, these two guys are just unstoppable. How does he get open so often, John, when he's being keyed on?
He's so quick and elusive off the line. He's quick. He's got great hips. And he's got unbelievable jumping ability. The only thing he doesn't have is straight line speed.
Is it something where when you can do all those things, you can somewhat make up for that, John, to be as elite as he has become in this league?
Oh,
Ricky Wagner.
Oh boy.
okay. So you bring Patrick in, and you probably put him at right guard, and then you put Turner at right tackle. And that was 8 catches for Adams for 75 yards and 3 touchdowns.
We've seen Daphne a lot in the backfield tonight too. I can't remember. I know they've used it a couple times this year, but I don't remember a game where they've been using him this much. You think that's because no Jamal Williams, John, or you think that's going to be something we see from now on?
No, I think it's because of no Degara. I think they drafted Degara because they wanted to use a big running back, and they wanted to use a tight end who could block and attack the flanks. And Degara really had a serious knee injury. His career is a little bit in doubt going forward, which is so unfortunate.
Is that bad, John? Is that?
Yeah. It was
Man.
multiple ligaments, I believe. So that's unfortunate. And when you look at I was watching the Seattle game today, and the Rams used 3 tight ends a ton of times, and you could see LaFleur doing it. This draft coming up is really good for tight ends. In the top 3 rounds, there's some really good ones who can block, and they're big. And I'm wondering if Green Bay loads up. I'm thinking that they'll probably go corner, offensive tackle, because you can always use a great offensive tackle, and there's a ton of them. And then maybe tight end, wide receiver. That would be my my pick. And it's a panic for quarterbacks. There's 6 or 7 in the first round, possibly in the top 15, 16 picks. So there's going to be a lot of trade ups. And every time a quarterback gets taken or a running back gets taken above Green Bay, some good position player falls. So Green Bay is probably going to have the 28th, 29th, 30, 31, 32 pick, somewhere in there. So there's going to be some really nice players in this draft.
Well, it's disheartening to hear that. I hope that Degara could get back because, well, you talked earlier in the season about how he took 2 men out with a block. This kid is a football player. And, well, let's hope that he can recover and come back and contribute. John, you've talked about the draft picks by Gutekunst. They seem to be looking better and better, don't they, as the season has worn on?
Well, Rashawn Gary looks sensational. But he was only 21 last year. Mm-hmm. But he was the guy that listened to the Smith brothers.
Look
AJ.
Oh. Wow.
Man.
What a 1-2 punch, Michael, huh?
No
He and
kidding.
Aaron Jones.
This is a bad day to be a Jamal Williams agent, I think.
Yeah, maybe. What did he do there, John? What did Rodgers do?
He's signaling where he wants to go. I think which A gap. There's an A gap to the left of the center and an A gap on the right of the center, and he was telling him which way to go.
Good call.
And Patrick's at.
He is just a beast.
They put Patrick at right guard, I believe.
Hopefully in the Tennessee huddle, their defensive huddle, they're saying, this 28 guy reminds me of a training camp.
Yeah. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Lindsley comes over. Boom. And he holds on to that football. Don't jinx him, Pippin.
My wife's a Notre Dame fan, and she was really high on that guy at BC. BC always gives Notre Dame a game.
Boy, you could see that.
How many catches does he have now? That's got to be at least 3, I think.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the total here. It's 2 for sure.
Yeah, I thought it maybe one was
2,
lateral.
1 for 5 yards before that.
Is coming back? Maybe not. They're talking to Rodgers.
Yeah, they'll probably come back and they'll take a penalty. 1st and 5 or 1st and 10 is better than 2nd and 3.
Right on, John.
So that's an interesting. You can see now with Degara and with this guy how LaFleur wanted to put his fingerprints or imprint on this team, attacking the flanks, and that catch by Dillon, he did that against Detroit too, and that was impressive.
Yeah, that's the the wrinkle that he has, as you say, that's maybe a little different. Kyle Shannon.
Nice tackle.
Nice tackle.
Yeah. He broke through in a hurry.
He hit him like David Long Sr.
Is his lip bleeding, or is it just a really red
I
lip?
wondered that too,
Yeah.
Michael. And
It looked like it was bleeding.
They are working him, aren't they? I
Yeah.
think maybe in these conditions, you go with the bigger, stronger guy and let the lightning bolt strike at another juncture.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that Wagner?
Yep. 13 carries now for AJ Dillon.
How many yards?
Let me check that. 13 for 62.
Still another catch and a first down.
Well, this is like stealing.
It does feel like that a lot with Devontae Adams. It just seems so simple to just grab 8 yards from teams.
The accurate quarterback and the wide receiver who runs the best routes. It's a great combo.
Mm-hmm.
And they put him in the slot.
Oh my goodness.
Michael Rogers hasn't missed many passes at all tonight, has he?
No, I think he's
started
got
8.
Yeah, he's 18 of 21. Good call, Pip. Just 3 incompletions, 4 touchdowns. Quarterback rating of 139.
Amazing. How about that run? Jeepers, this is exciting to see, fellas, on all cylinders.
It feels like they're up by more than 12 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, you never like to hear that.
It's a good thing that MVS was able to miss a clip or a hold there.
That might have been his greatest contribution tonight, huh?
Sometimes you got to know when to fold them.
I think the Packers should put artificial snow on the turf every week.
Yeah. They've had success in these games at Lambeau, haven't they, John? You talk about going back to Tampa Bay when Steve Young was playing there, and certainly the Seattle games.
Yeah, the Seattle game, that one, Ryan Grant fumbled twice in the first 2 minutes of the game, and they were down 14-0. And Favre calmed everybody down. It was a playoff game. Ryan Grant was crying, and Ryan Grant and Favre leads them back. It was 14-14 at the end of the first quarter of that game. The most points ever scored in an NFL playoff game in the first quarter. 28 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ryan Grant ran for over 200 yards that game.
Well, look at the comparative numbers, Michael. What do you think?
Yeah, the passing yards is the one that a lot of people look at. It's 800 yards almost, more than Rodgers. But the touchdown to interception ratio and the quarterback rating is heavily in Rodgers' favor.
But he's playing with better talent. There's just more weapons in Kansas City. At tight end and those little wide receivers are incredible.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce.
They would make the playoffs without them. Aaron would never make. Can you imagine without Aaron? What would you think? 8-8?
Oh no, 4-12.
Yeah,
maybe.
Not even.
Oh, how nice it is to have back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
So lucky.
Mm-hmm. Very fortunate.
All right, I'm gonna say it. 2nd and 2 and the 3rd and 1, and use Jones both times instead of Aaron or AJ Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know. It's almost like they seem to be doing series with these guys, doesn't it?
Well, they're going to go 4th and 1.
Where's that ball?
There's Dillon in the game.
Yeah, so now they bring Dillon in.
So now it's a play action fake to Dillon, and they're going to pass it to Tunyon.
Like that call.
I like Tunyon all the time.
Is he in the game? He's not in the game.
Little hurry up, too. Interesting formation. I think it's going to Dillon.
Go,
yeah!
Go! AJ Dillon.
That touchdown, Michael Rachel. Watch he score.
Lambeau leap. First Lambeau leap. Okay,
Yes.
needs work.
Lambeau leap, nobody there. Where's Leroy Butler to show him what's up? Show him how to do it.
They
Well,
had 3 wideouts, and they ran it to Lazard's side, so Lazard was like the tight end on the play.
That's interesting.
Well, I guess they've answered, at least to this point, what they're going to do offensively in the second half, right?
9 plays, 74 yards, 548.
2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, JD.
Yeah, what a block by Lazard. That's why Green Bay likes big wide receivers.
He's got some pretty good jets too, doesn't he?
He's Eddie Lacy, but with a work ethic. He'll stay in shape. Eddie Lacy would get out and run 60 yards and then ask to be caught from behind because he just got tired. I remember against Dallas, he had 2 really long runs and he was caught from behind. And in the playoff game against Arizona, he was running and he got caught from behind looking over his shoulder. I thought, that's too bad he's not in better shape. He was a good guy, but it's like he wasn't into it. I think this guy's into it. And this guy can catch better.
Michael, do you think we'll look back at this game and say this was the coming out party for a young man who emerged as a star in the NFL and A.J. Dillon?
I hope so. I hope that's what we're looking at. I think this has a lot of implications on the offseason too, with Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones contracts being up. And a lot of people had doubts about A.J. Dillon just because he hasn't been playing. And now, the draft haters will be quiet tonight. But hopefully, yeah, a year from now or even this postseason will be like, hey, remember that game against Tennessee where he went for 80+ yards and a touchdown.
Well, here's one for you. This thought just popped into my my Packer brain. Do you spend $11 million a year on Aaron Jones, knowing that you have Dillon, or do you spend maybe $4 million on Jamal Williams and team him up with? I guess after Aaron Jones ran what he's done tonight, I guess my Packer brain has said sign Aaron Jones, but they still have the leverage on him. They have the franchise, and that's the designation, and that's what Rosenhaus knows. So the Packers can go, all right, we'll put the franchise on him, and if he holds his client out, then I think the Packers can get away with A.J. Dillon and Dexter Williams. Those are your 2 running backs.
I don't know about Dexter. He hasn't been able to see the field in part because he hasn't been able to pick up the offense, has he, John? I mean, he certainly flashes speed and athleticism.
But that's your 3 then. He'll be in the. It's a cheap option, or you pick up there's a great running back crop that you could maybe get a guy in the 4th or 5th round that could help you in the draft this year, and then use him and Dillon.
Nice tackle there, Ty Summers. Yeah, I'm just so impressed with this young man who, as Michael has said, seemed to be coming on, and then COVID hit him, and he was out 4 or 5 weeks, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was weird. I remember you brought that up, Pip, how he was out for extended time, but then, obviously COVID hits people differently, so who knows? Yeah, John, that's interesting to see if they'll shake it up a little bit to make it work with A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, I think what they'll do is maybe draft. Now that I think about it, use a pick on day 3 for a running back, go with Dillon and franchise Jones, and then unfortunately, I think Williams and Lindsley go.
You don't think they'll try to keep Corey, huh?
Unless there's I don't think they have enough. They can put Lucas Patrick at center, or they can move Jenkins to center.
I hope John Runyon can come in year 2 and make a contribution. Patrick is kind of a mauler, isn't he, JD and Michael? If you want to weigh in, he's a good player. I don't know if he's anything beyond that. Serviceable is the word I'm looking for.
Well, what's great about this is Tennessee, they're behind by 20 points, basically 19 points, and they have to run. So this tick, 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 we have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
If this were a couple of months ago, I'd be able to rake. But
you have to take down the Christmas tree or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Take down the decorations.
Can't rake the leaves, but you can get that tree down, JD. You're gonna wait till after the new year. What do you do in the Dodds household?
We get a tree right at Thanksgiving, and we put it up. And by Christmas, the thing is really looking sad. It's sagging. It's ready to go. And New Year's, it's at the curb. Mrs. Dodds puts it at the curb.
Yeah. Andrew, got to be feeling pretty good in Paris, staying up late for this one from our Elephantly marketing team.
Oh yeah, feeling good. I kind of want one more touchdown by Rodgers, just for my own personal reasons.
Andrew, I don't know you well, but you seem greedy.
I just want to define MVP like it should be. So
Nice play by Alexander, huh?
He's played pretty well tonight, and he was guarding Corey Davis there, but he's been on AJ Brown a lot today too.
Davis
It's snowing. What tells me it's snowing a lot there is at every break they take the brooms and they go out and they do the yard lines.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they've had about 4 or 5 inches at least up there.
John, when you play the Bears next week, you never feel that greedy.
No. I was when they put Refrigerator Perry in the backfield. That's when I it changed my life in terms of Packer Bear rivalry. That's number one. And you throw those out. You throw that game out. It's a game essential for them. But it was
Nice
it would
defense.
be classic if they could get in with a loss.
It's fun that it might be meaningful. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The
So
Bears scare me. I'm here to tell you guys.
Really?
Hey,
Oh,
they
yeah,
scored over 30
absolutely.
points in
Yeah,
4
definitely.
games, 41 today. I'll be at Jacksonville. They've really come on. They're running it. Didn't they, Michael, didn't they take, I thought we talked about this. The head coach gives up the play calling and, it just seems to be, and Trubisky is coming on a little bit. Rivalry game in Chicago, fans notwithstanding.
And David Montgomery playing out of his mind right now as well.
You said it.
the Packers changed their defense. They have 2 linemen down.
Nice tackle there, John. Right?
I'm wondering if the Packers can use this to basically say the weakness that we have on our team is the run defense. If we, kind of put more people at the line and eliminate that weakness, are we good enough in the secondary to go man to man or let people run free to stop the run and keep the pass rush up? Maybe that's the formula.
So I'm looking at the schedule of next week. They haven't assigned a Sunday night game because they didn't know who they're going to put there. As Johnny Smith gets a big one over the middle. The Steelers Browns, that was going to be for the AFC North title if Cleveland would have beaten New York today, but they lost. So that game is kind of meaningless now. The Rams Cardinals game is important, so that one could be Sunday night. But otherwise than that, it's a pretty weak schedule.
No,
So
it'll
Packers,
be
Bears.
It'll be Packers and Bears. It has to.
Yeah.
We're
So
looking at
we're
another
looking at
late
another.
nighter, you think?
We're
Yeah,
doing. I mean, I'm used to the schedule. What are you saying? It's gonna be at 2 o'clock again? All righty.
Yeah. What time is it in Paris, France, Andrew?
It's 4:35.
You look like you're in midday form, though.
I balance my day out to
Yeah.
do. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah. So it's an important game. So.
Boy, it'll be fun, won't it?
Yeah.
Just that
You know,
the Bear-
Pip, one of the stories of this game is the 2019 draft class. Rashawn Gary has really stepped up. Darnell Savage, who was the other first-round pick of safety, he stepped up. And Elton Jenkins, the guard. Those are 3 picks in the top 44. And then I haven't seen Kingsley Kiki do much, but I haven't been looking. And Kadar Holman, Dexter Williams, and Ty Summers haven't really played, but for maybe special teams. But the top 3 of 2019 really coming to the fore tonight.
It really is encouraging. Remember we were talking about Jeepers, he's picking up a free agent here or there, whatever the case, but the drafting hasn't been great, but bigger picture, it looks a lot prettier.
And I still maintain that quarterback was a calculated gamble, Jordan Love. And that one may pay dividends 3 years from now. Or if Rodgers gets hurt at some point, all of a sudden this guy comes in. Because Boyle, you want to keep Boyle because he's assignment sure and things. But they have been talking up in Green Bay how much Love has improved just in the practice on the scout team.
That's encouraging.
In what ways, John, have you heard?
Just accuracy, demeanor in and out of the huddle, confidence. And he seems to be a good guy, and he realizes he's eating humble pie because he's learning from the master. And the little tidbits, Rodgers is amazing when you see him now, and maybe he's putting on a show for the ESPN cameras, but when he does those little quarterback clinics where he's teaching a guy like Rosen from UCLA, he's teaching him little tidbits. I'm like, this is amazing. The attention to detail. I hope he's listening up. So I'm sure he's doing that to Love because he doesn't view Love as a threat.
Oh, nice play again. Golly, look good. Michael, I'm with you. This defense, you know me, I've been all over them from Jump Street. But as the season has gone on, down the stretch, when it counts, maybe they're going to be at their best.
Yeah, and this offense from Tennessee is usually pretty good. I'm trying to get their points per game up. I think it's pretty high.
Aren't they one in the league overall on offense?
They might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They average
offense too, I think.
Yeah, 31.1 points per game, which ties Kansas City, Green Bay down to 31 even after.
Interception!
Hey.
What a play. What pressure to allow that interception.
He's had a lot of good plays like that this year.
Yeah. And KC's going down after that game where they won 20-17 or 17-14?
17-14, yeah.
Is that 7 straight games by 6 or less points they done? Something crazy like that, I think.
Is that the Chiefs you're talking about, Andrew?
Yeah. That's insane. I don't know if that's good or bad. That's called everyone gets scared about winning ugly, but they're really good at that.
It's good play by Kirksey, but it was set up by the pressure, wasn't it, fellas? Man.
Yeah.
So is that 2 turnovers now they generated, Michael?
Yeah, 2 interceptions by Tannehill.
Yeah. And we've talked about that, right, John? This defense has to be opportunistic. They're going to bend. Sometimes they'll break, but they get the turnovers. Good field position.
Tannehill was also credited with a fumble that they recovered. I don't remember that, though. A fumble that Tennessee recovered, so no turnover, but I don't remember that play.
Tennessee had 6 in the box there.
I don't know if Wayne is saying it's the dagger. It's far too early, John, but that's a big play, huh?
Huge.
This is a big game for the AFC playoff picture in general because there was a chance that an 11-4 team was going to miss the playoffs, which is crazy given that they expanded the playoffs this year. But now with Tennessee losing to go to 10-5, I think 11-4 or 12-4 would get you in. Or sorry, a 12-4 team would have. Oh boy.
Just hang on to it, Aaron. Sheepers. Is he okay? Thought he was grabbing a thigh or something. But the Colts lost, so would the Titans still be atop the AFC South, Michael?
Yeah.
Rallied, right?
I'm trying to think.
The North.
I'm trying to think who has that tiebreaker. I think they split this year head to head.
I'm getting us off track anyway, but it's yeah.
No.
It is
Yeah, I think you're right. So yeah, I think. Sorry, I was misspoken earlier. An 11-5 team could still miss the playoffs in the AFC, which is pretty crazy.
Didn't that happen to the Patriots the year that Brady went down? Was it Garoppolo who took over? I can't remember. Another nice play. John, you said it before, kind of attacking those flanks.
Yeah, attack the flanks. That's the floor. That's what they try to do. And the interesting thing in the off season is the big advance. There he is. There's Love.
As if on cue. But I was thinking too, fellas, that Jordan Love is to Aaron Rodgers as Aaron Rodgers was to Brett Favre, right? Play behind a Hall of Famer, hopefully learn some things. Aaron probably would be a little bit more hands-on than Brett was. He was by example. We know that in the early stages, it was a tense relationship. But in terms of being able to set back and just watch greatness and learn from it.
Oh, Aaron.
That's great there.
That was a throw late over the middle. That's the Brett Favre. That's the cardinal rule. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, if it would be more analogous to Favre and Rodgers if Jordan Love came up to Aaron Rodgers, shook his hand and said, "Hey, old man,
Yeah.
my Wonderlic score was a lot higher than yours."
Yeah, I wasn't referring to that part of it. But
That would have been. And then the other thing is, you know, I've heard people that they've reported on my current Marquette board. I have a Packer board. People went up to training camp and they saw that Rodgers and Favre was very unfriendly to Rodgers. He wouldn't point anything out as a rookie or whatever. And I said to him, if you're Mike Sherman and you're Tom Rosley and Darrell Bevell, the way Brett Favre backs up when he throws, the way Brett Favre doesn't set his feet because his arm is so strong, the way Brett Favre looks at things, do you want him impacting this rookie quarterback or do you want to mold him yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So Favre is like, it's not my job to train this guy. And everybody got all bent out of shape. And I don't think the coaches felt that way. And after a while, Rodgers said when Favre realized that he wasn't out to take his job, Favre is insecure. He's like, some of these great guys are insecure deep down. He always thought that somebody, if he got hurt, would take his place and Wally Pipp him, just like he Wally Pipped Don Majkowski. And Paul Molitor used to be that way too. Paul Molitor was like the coolest guy when I was growing up, like, wow, Paul Molitor. And people said, yeah, he's kind of maybe insecure. He doubts certain things. I thought, wow, really? Because he looks like the most confident guy ever. But you just never know that the great Hall of Fame talents might be a little insecure. So, but once Favre knew that Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to take his job, they actually not became friends, but they became cordial. And Rodgers learned a lot about how he went about his work.
That's the key. Yeah. Mechanics notwithstanding, you're right, John. That's where he really learned competitiveness, having fun playing the game. You are right on.
Favre was an obsessive, compulsive guy too, where he would come to the Packer offices at 5:15 in the morning, like 20 minutes ahead of Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy would be like, "What are you doing here?" He's, "I'm going to learn every single position in the West Coast, so I know when my back is turned what everybody's going to do." And McCarthy's like, "Okay."
I wonder if maybe Aaron got just
there you go, hit him low.
Yeah.
Don't stiff arm him.
Yeah. And he's showboating a little. Yeah, I don't know if Aaron was getting a little greedy on that pass too. It marred an otherwise perfect game. Look at that. First INT in 333 passes, December, January at Lambeau. Wow.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
John, I don't know if you caught it, but when they showed Jordan Love, he had an earpiece in. Does he listen into play calls, or is that with the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, or?
Absolutely, he's listening to all that. They want him to know all that. Yep.
He's not listening to your play-by-play guy Larrabee and
our podcast.
Yeah, our podcast.
I think he's on our podcast right now.
That's it.
Listening to our podcast would definitely be counterproductive.
Hit him! Hit him!
Rashawn Gary says you're not scoring on this play.
Yeah.
78. That's a new number. That must be Price. Is that Price? So they're.
$78, yeah, Brian Price, yep.
Nice pass and catch. Boy, just they're rolling and you figure they're going down, maybe more points and you get the pick. Well, it happens, right? They pay both sides. I have to remember that, Andrew.
Still a 3-score game too, so not the end of the world on that pick. Oh, nice cutback.
Yeah.
Keep ticking.
What's the longest run of the day for Henry?
Longest run of the day for Henry is 10 yards.
Yeah, that's impressive.
He's 22 carries for 93 yards.
Well, Scott hung tough on that one, didn't he? Vernon Scott?
Yeah, he jacked a guy on special teams too. They really like him a lot.
Mm-hmm. That might be tough right there. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that cutback by Henry to the left, the back-to-back plays. It's really nice.
That was impressive. That little twinkle toes kind of move.
Mm-hmm.
For a guy that big to be able to move like that. That's Earl Campbell like.
Mm-hmm. Great analogy.
Get him.
Just about. He had a three.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah, right. This would be a nice hold here, boys. Ah. John, why don't you share with our producer? He's a producer and then so much more, Jason Ruck. Go ahead. John, share that one. That was good.
Malcolm Butler did the interception, did the championship belt.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Take
sure
Yeah.
Rogers will file that one away.
Yeah. Sure he will. He'll be picking on him next time, right?
Use it as motivation probably by next April.
Mm.
Running the beaches of Southern California.
There is a man who is not insecure, right, John? Aaron Rodgers has been confident from the get-go.
Yeah. Could he become Tom Brady? Sure hope so. 6 more years left.
That's a good call.
Let's see what they do here. Field goal would cut it to 16, which would be
Tick,
2
tick,
possessions.
tick, 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 tick.
But in these conditions, you just wonder if anything is sure.
Yeah, I'd go for it. But
you young guys are a little bit more proactive. And you know what, Michael? You're bringing me along that way, too, and I appreciate it. I'm with you. Be aggressive, although hopefully it won't work in this case.
right. Mike Holmgren would probably hate me according to what John Dodd says about him. Though.
Yeah, always take the points.
Take the points. There he is. Get him. There you go. Nice play. All right. Did you hear what Jason said? Oh, that bad memory.
One of the.
Why do you have to say that? Oh man.
Talking about the
biggest take the
AFC Championship game. As long as we brought it up, John, I just wanted to make sure that people are saying, "What are they talking about?" But
Yeah, one of the biggest take the points issues that the Packers had was at Philadelphia. It was 14-0. They went down, and Amon Green, who had a big run down to about the 3, and he had asthma issues, So they took him out and they put Davenport in. He ran 3 times, I think, to the 1, 4th and 1. And I'm with Homer and Sparky at the time for WISN. They're having this talk show. And I said to Homer, take the points. 17-0 in this game. That means that's huge. Instead, they go for it. And Tauscher missed a block for like the first time in his, I mean, I've never seen him. The guy just made a great play on Tauscher. He went in a slant and he stuffed Green at the goal line. And then they go 99 yards for a touchdown, and it's 14-7 at half. And I thought, oh no. Can you imagine 17 points? That you gotta know when to put the points on the board. And that was the toothache 4th and 26 game.
Was it ever?
Boy.
I've got to change the subject real quick. They just released the schedule for next weekend. The Packers got moved from noon to 3:25.
Okay.
The Sunday night game is going to be Washington at Philadelphia. If Washington wins, they'll win the East.
There must have been some complaint by Fox or something. You're taking our great games and getting them to NBC.
Yeah.
It's
So
ridiculous.
Washington will have what are they, 6-9 right now?
Right. So is Dallas.
Right. So 6-9 team will have primetime television to win the division.
Yeah, that's NBC, not NBC. I think got Green Bay flexed this week, but they're not going to get them next.
Yep.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully by the time they kick that one off, the Packers will have defeated the Bears and wrap number 1 seed. This so far has been just outstanding, hasn't it, guys?
Maybe 6 touchdowns next week by Aaron just to go to 50.
Why not? Why not? Yeah,
Why not? Why not?
You know, that schedule though to play at 3:25. That's the same.
Excuse me.
No, you're fine. That's the same time as you're about to see. It's the same time as the Rams and or not Rams game. Sorry, the Seattle game. So you don't have to worry about that game. Just go out and win. Whereas at the Sunday, if you were playing Sunday night, you could theoretically watch that game to see if Seattle were to lose.
So, Michael, you said earlier, again, the Packers cannot clinch because Seattle won, but the win favors the Packers for what reason? They still have to win next week, do they not? Or
could they no lower than second?
Could they lose and still get the number 1 seed?
They can, yeah. If Seattle loses to San Francisco next week.
Yeah, they'd have to have help. Oh, man, that is nice to see.
Dylan's got 16 carries for 106.
I guess we could call that a breakout game, hey?
Jones has 10 carries for 94. Plus, what do we figure? A 35-yard bonus on the one play, stepping out of bounds. So whatever it takes.
He's the Packers historian, the great John Dodds. Michael Rachel ignites this ship. I'm Tom Pippins. Our wonderful producer is Jason Ruck. Pippin Dodds Packers podcast with Michael Rachel, and in Paris, France, from our marketing team, Elephant League. Oh, dang. Andrew Grogan, who reminds me a little bit of A.J. Dillon with his toughness.
I'm chuckling at Tavon Austin tonight. He's running a lot of east to west without grabbing the ball.
That's good. He can get in shape.
Yeah.
He made a couple of decent catches earlier.
Yeah, I think he's got 2 catches tonight, if I remember correctly.
17 for 115, 17 carries, 115 for Dylan.
Wow.
Still have time for questions if you'd like. pippindodds.com/ask for Michael Rachel. We're thankful to be brought to you also by 4 Milwaukee. Started to talk about them earlier. Golf simulator bar downtown. Great experience. You can play any course. Slice of pizza.
Oh, blow by him.
Oh, Devante! Gosh, he is just magical.
What an easy play, too. Just a 1-yard dump off to him on the left side.
That's his 10th catch for 110.
10 yards of separation from the defender at the start. Yeah, take that, Malcolm Butler.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, against Malcolm Butler. Take that.
Oh, he just took off the belt.
Yeah. Give it back to Rogers. There are those numbers for Devontae. The great ones come back. Yeah, he had a little chip on his shoulder. Look at this
AJ
kid.
Dillon just with a stiff arm to EQ St. Brown.
Yeah, time to sit Devontae for next week.
Yeah.
Mhm. The Bears defense will be a little more challenging, I suspect.
Yeah, Roquan Smith went down today, I think. I'm not sure how severe that injury was, but I saw he got banged up.
Yeah,
Was that
it
off the
was a shoulder.
interception?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a big loss.
41 points, though, against Jacksonville. Again, they're going to get the number one. What do you think of, you think your guy will go to Jacksonville? He didn't apparently want to go to the Jets. John?
Yeah, I would rather go to the Jets than Jacksonville, but if he likes warm weather, why not?
And taxes, I think, are lower in
Oh,
Florida.
that's a huge point.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. Can
I
he
think
still
the-
win the Heisman, you think? He had the
I think the tax rates are 13% in New York and 0 in
Yeah.
Florida. That's a
They'll be
big,
saving hundreds of thousands of dollars.
that's right.
What is it, Texas and Florida that's like that?
Yeah. And I think Alaska.
Everybody seems to be moving to Texas lately.
Yeah, California is slowly moving one by one to Texas.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Are you serious?
Hey, these two have never been better than this season. And in tonight's game, this is one of the most magnificent performances I've seen.
Give that guy a championship belt.
Is that Butler? Yeah, thank you, Jason. Malcolm Butler, take that.
He never got touched. Get up.
Yeah. One more TD.
Yeah, one more.
Right at Butler. Whoever he's guarding.
11, 142, and 3 touchdowns. And why not a fourth? Oh, okay. This kid just doesn't give up.
Well, this is, I had my doubts about this team being a playoff like a Super Bowl contender coming into tonight, but this game has really impressed me. And
well, I'm going to go back. I think John had the line of the night: put up or shut up.
Yep.
And it looks as if they have certainly put up. And this is easily the toughest foe they faced this year. New Orleans notwithstanding, because we know the Saints are really peaking now. I'm just astonished by the way at Drew Brees. Maybe that's conversation for another time. All those cracked and broken ribs and a punctured lung, and he comes back.
Get in, AJ. Touchdown.
No signal?
He's in according to the ref. All right, let's see if he can do better this time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Come on. Help him up, Alan.
There we go. Oh, man. It's going to make for some great Monday night game highlights tomorrow, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, stretch it out. Oh, yeah.
You're almost forced to play him now in the future, right? This year?
Oh, my gosh.
How do you see this and not at least give him some touches every game?
But jeepers, to have another back, John, a 3-headed monster maybe for the postseason?
Yeah. This is hopefully, when we were talking about this all year, you always wanted Dillon to show up like James Starks showed up in 2010. He was on the PUP list for most of the year. I think he was the 6th round pick, and he was a rookie, and I think he had ankle issues. So they just put him on PUP, and they said, we have Ryan Grant, we have Jenkins, we have all these other running backs. And one by one, they all got nicked up. And Starks kind of came out with fresh legs right at the end of the year and went on a 6-game tear where he got about 75 yards a game and made opponents respect the run, which was just huge for Rodgers. It was really a nice deal.
while we have a moment or two, again, one more thank you to Don Matovich at DJ's Goalpost in Menominee Falls, a fantastic bar restaurant and a sponsor of ours. And I know he's very, very psyched about the Packers season and what might happen in the future. And also Professional Construction Inc., Mike and Michelle Grau. Hope they're feeling better. They've had some health issues, but on the mend, and look forward to connecting with them in the new year. Professional Construction Inc., outstanding work, commercial and residential, home remodeling. They are the best. And like Don, super people in the community, really give back a bunch. Take it away, Michael, Rachel. Take it away and take us home. I want to just listen into you guys.
I'm just a little stunned personally and how big of a beatdown this was. I was expecting a field goal game. I think I said 31-28. Pip, you said similar. And JD, I think you had a one-score game as well. So this Packers defense is peaking at the right time.
30-29, I think I had.
Yeah. So this Packers defense has performed better than we all thought they would tonight.
Yeah, James Jones called this one.
Yeah. So Derrick Henry looks like he's done for the night. His final numbers are going to be 23 carries for 98 yards. We held him under 100 yards. Not sure who else has done that other than Cleveland this year. I'll have to check on that.
Yeah, Cleveland held him to like 67 or something 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Boy, I'm with you guys. There's nothing like a snow game, especially when you're winning at Lambeau Field. And I wonder if the conditions will be similar, guys, next week in Chi-Town, Soldier Field.
Henry's been held under 100 yards 5 times this year. In the last 2 games, he went for 215 rushing yards and 147 rushing yards. So, great job from the Packers defense today. But yeah, Pip, next Sunday during the day, I guess. Now we're not going to get that Sunday night game. I'm a little upset about that, but that's okay. Yeah, it should be. I don't know. I think my prediction now is going to change. We'll see come midweek if we do another pregame podcast, but I would have had that one pretty close, but we'll see. We'll see. What do you think, John? Do you have any insight into next week already?
For the Bear game?
Yeah.
Well, I want to know if Akeem Hicks is playing.
Yeah.
That's their big defensive lineman. That's the key guy. How healthy is he? Next is Roquan Smith. It looked like he tried to go for a fumble and he popped his shoulder when he was diving on the ground. So that is a top. Those are the 2 best players on that team. They have a very good defense, and their offense is coming around. So, but the Packer defense, I got to give them credit. If they can stuff the run and rush the passer, I think that the secondary is playing well enough to guard Allen Robinson and the rest of their wide receivers.
Pip, tonight, Devontae Adams had 11 receptions. The next highest had 2. And MVS went catchless today. Yeah. Obviously, A.J. Dillon and Jones in the rushing game were unstoppable, so they didn't throw the ball as much as we've seen this year. But does it concern you at all that nobody had over 2 catches other than Devontae Adams?
I think you brought it up. The reason I'm not concerned, Michael, is not only the stellar play of 12 and 17, but the rushing game just was incredible. So it probably limited the opportunities to a degree. But you do want that balance. Did you not say earlier that he had thrown to 6 different receivers? So
yeah.
Yeah, it's
ended with 8 different receivers, assuming they don't get the ball back. And total yards for Tennessee, I'm going to go to see what the total yards was. I think we dominated that as well. Yeah, 451 yards for the Packers to 260 for Tennessee, and they had that one big play with Tannehill too. So if you take that away, really dominated the scrimmage yards.
They have Kadar Holman and Oren Burks in right now.
They got a lot of clean uniforms in there, JD.
Yeah.
Including Tennessee's quarterback. Who's their backup, Michael? Do you know?
That's a good question. Mariota's gone there now, so.
Oh, right, yeah.
Logan Woodside.
Yeah, another guy I've never heard of. Also, How about this? Green Bay, 0 penalties tonight.
You're kidding. That's
Haven't been
astounding.
penalized yet. Yeah.
I wonder, all right, historian, do you remember a game like that?
Um,
0 penalties?
Yeah, there's been other ones. I can't come up with it right off the top of my head, but
I'm going to say that's rare, isn't it?
yeah.
There was one this year against Green Bay. I think we were playing Tampa Bay, and at the time they were the most penalized team in the NFL, and I think they had 0 penalties against us this year.
Nice punt. That's when you know that you're throwing in the towel when you're punting, right? With $1:40 to go.
Yeah.
Well, you let it go so it runs the clock.
There's the South. We were talking about those standings, Michael.
And Tennessee is going to go and play Houston, I think, next week, or Indiana. One of them plays.
You know, the Packers had a bad game against Tennessee. I want to say it was 2004 during the Mike McKenzie dust up where the Packers.
Yeah. Jason Ruck with a name from the past. You hear that? Ahmad Carroll?
Yeah. Mike McKenzie was wanted his contract reworked because he had Drew Rosenhaus. He changed agents, and it got so poisonous that the Packers traded him to New Orleans for like a 3rd round pick, and he was really their best DB. And the Packers started off either 0-4 or 1-4 that year, and Tennessee came up and beat them like 44-14 up in Lambeau, and this team was going nowhere. They traded McKenzie, and then by the end of the year, they got in the playoffs and lost to Minnesota on that where Moss wiped himself on the goal pad. So they really turned it around. They're one of the few teams in history that started off 1-4 and made the playoffs. But the score had to be 40-something to 14, I think.
That was the Moss game?
That was the Tennessee game.
Oh, yeah.
Moss year.
Yeah.
So this is sticking 16 years, but it's payback.
I was thinking about, Jason brought up Ahmad Carroll. Boy, that was a sad pick, but a little guy. How about this? 40-14.
So Aaron Rodgers MVP now. He threw that 1 pick, but 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's going to be tough not to. Yep.
Yeah.
Mahomes had 2 touchdowns, but 1 interception, right?
At least 1, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see too much of that. Maybe just the 1.
He's probably going to sit out next week. So if Rodgers does what he does against the Bears, it's usually like an average of 6 touchdowns usually, right, against the Bears.
I hope you're right. I don't think it's going to be easy, and the Bears have a lot to play for, but so do the oldest rivalry in the game, John Dodds.
Yeah, this will be a barn burner. Both of them will be coming after it, and they got to be super jacked for it because as Roger said, he's played in 4 championship games all on the road. 3 of them on the road. One of them against the Giants up here. Favre played. That's what it was. Yep.
But they beat the Bears in the NFC Championship game when they went to the Super Bowl 45 and won it. Correct?
Yeah, they lost to San Francisco last year, and they lost to Atlanta after 2016.
Yeah.
So and then they lost in Seattle in 2015 or 2015.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy where
So
the onside kick. So he wanted a home game. He's never had a home game. He's had 4 road games is what his point was.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking they had success against the Bears in a big game there. And what year was it that Kuhn made the block and Randall Cobb was wide open and Rodgers hit it for the
I think that
walk-off?
was 2013. I think that was
2013, huh? Wow, that long ago. My goodness.
Well, Julius Peppers was the guy Kuhn blocked.
Ironically, huh?
Yeah, and if you watch that play, and I've probably seen it 150 times because it's an enjoyable play, but the Bear defensive backs, they thought with Julius Peppers rushing that Rodgers would be getting the ball out quickly. So when Kuhn came up and locked Peppers, it gave an extra split second to Rodgers, and Cobb runs down the field, and the safety was guarding him, thought he was going to cut out, and it was a fourth down play, and he would go for the first down. So he goes all the way the distance, and Rodgers throws it deep for the touchdown. But Jordy Nelson, you talk about what are referees looking at? Jordy Nelson runs in the slot straight down, and the DB of the Bears just grabs him and throws him right to the ground, right in front of the refs. And there was no flag at all. If you ever have a chance to watch that play, it's just classic.
Mm-hmm. Andrew O'Grogan, it sure has been nice to have you with us from our Elephantly marketing team all the way in Paris, France. And big fan. I know you'll be here next week. We look forward to the Sunday afternoon tilt, the viewing party. Thanks to our producer, Jason Ruck. Again, it was absolutely marvelous. How about just a quick comment from you two guys, and then Michael, you take it out. Rodgers and Devontae notwithstanding him, just on another level. Michael, you pointed out the play of that defense, and for me, A.J. Dillon, I'll walk away thinking, man, this is huge at the right time. That's all I've got.
Yeah, I'll let you take A.J. Dillon since you've been on him all year, basically. So I'll stay with that defense. 98 rushing yards and 23 carries given up to Derrick Henry. Just the sixth time he's been held under 100 rushing yards all season. And, everyone talks about how Green Bay has a terrible rushing defense. Well, they just made a statement tonight that they're ready to play with the big boys. So I'm very optimistic now for this playoff run when they play some of these teams with good rushing games. And I think they can beat anybody now, which I didn't think so coming into tonight.
Well, John, they call me Nervous Nelly, but I've never had such a good feeling this season as I do now. I do think it's going to be a real test against the Bears, but I'm feeling a lot better than I did about 3 or 4 hours ago.
Just a big picture from 10,000 feet looking down. Have they discovered a formula to stop the run while still maintaining pass rush pressure from the Smith brothers and Gary? So if you stuff the run and keep the pass rush, are your cornerbacks, King and Alexander, good enough to guard one-on-one outside, and your safeties seem to be improving? So that's a good trend line up. But stuffing the run, putting more guys in the box without taking away from your pass rush, which is the great deodorant.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's it. That's your money line right there. It's just a big amen. 3.9 yards per rush, per crack. I think that's what the Packers defense has allowed since David Montgomery had the huge run, and the Bears going back to playing the Packers. So that is very encouraging. Michael, why don't you take us home, please? It's been a real pleasure to be with everyone, and just a happy and blessed new year. We'll do it again in the next year.
Yeah, Pip. Thanks to our sponsors, as always, all of them, for keeping us on. So appreciate that. Thanks to Jason Ruck for producing once again. This is the Pip and Dodds Packers podcast featuring Michael Rachel, and we will see you guys again next Sunday afternoon when the Packers take on the Chicago Bears.